Good morning, everybody. This is the Oskar Quentin Show, where I talk about politics with strangers on the internet. Sorry, left the house speaker on. Sometimes I forget, and that gets me in trouble, because then we have an echo that we need to edit out of the first half of the show. I'm alone in the studio today. Producer Jessie had a very, very late show last night that I wasn't able to attend, unfortunately. Go listen to Sensing Agony, though. Get more plays for them. They're excellent, so I think she'll be joining me at some point. But I am alone for now, which means I will be overwhelmed with tasks and unable to remember to do things like to get my backup accounts in the multi-guest request queue. I remembered now to do it. Let's see. Am I live? I am live. Let's request with that one. Let's request with this one. See, now I have to do it all by myself. All right. Get the request queue open. What's today? Sunday. Sunday's a good day for calls. People aren't working. The religious zealots are at church. We've got Abu Ivanka in the guest request queue already, so I'll just take a second to get these backup accounts in the corner, and then we'll talk to Abu Ivanka. There's one backup account, and there is the other. Ooh. Hate trying to talk over my own echo. All right, let's see if we can just roll with the debates right away. That's a good way to start a show. Abu Ivanka is our first caller. Hello? Are you there? I don't think we're going to get that lucky today. It is always fun when we just hit the ground rolling and hit the ground running, I mean to say, and end up with a caller right away. Ah, there you are. Are you there, Abu?
Yo.
Hello, how old are you?
I'm 25.
25. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, and I am an immigrant.
You're a Trump supporter who's an immigrant?
Yep.
Chat thinks you're a troll. Got a brand new account. No camera privileges. Or a private account, one or the other. Chat saying that caller is quiet on YouTube. Caller is quiet everywhere. I think you are also quiet on TikTok.
Are you talking to me?
I'm going to disconnect them. Video's freezing? We dropping frames? Let's see what OBS says. No dropped frames on OBS. TikTok doesn't tell me. Yeah, I there are immigrants that support Trump. There are immigrants that think that because they did it right and Trump is going after the people who did it wrong, that that for some reason justifies what's going on. Those are interesting conversations. I'm willing to have that conversation. In fact, I'm excited to have that conversation because there's questions like, even if you aren't going to be deported because you did it right and you got in the right way, and even if you want those people to be deported because they didn't, go through all the hoops that you had to jump through, it's still bad to be detained if you're not white. We still allow that. Is he in the chat? There was a pretty aggressive delay, Abu. I will say there's something about the tone of somebody who I feel is just not going to take the conversation seriously. At the end of the day, I have to make a judgment call about whether or not I'm going to give a complete stranger airtime on my show, which is like my full-time job. It's two other people's full-time jobs to maintain the show. So like the three of us have to gamble on every person being a useful use of the time of the show's time, in terms of what we're trying to accomplish for the mission statement of the show, in terms of having good conversations, and then also just in terms of making sure that the show is entertaining and gets pushed out and all that stuff. So Abu, if you want to try to get back in the queue some other time, I will ask, maybe get your audio a little bit figured out. Maybe you can do that calling in some other lives, or call into this live towards the end if you want to work it out, when I'm a little bit less concerned about the amount of the amount of engagement a call is going to drive. Because I do want to hear from an immigrant that supports Trump, but I just kind of feel like you weren't very passionate about discussing it with me. It was kind of apathetic. And keemokazi's in the queue. but I'd love to show Keemokazi some planets through a telescope. All right, Abu, I want to give you a chance. I really do. Let the Wookiee in says no. Everybody says no. Hello, are you there? There's a very long delay. I can hear the echo, and it's like 10 seconds back. And one thing that is, I'll mention this just for transparency's sake. It's one of the things that people maybe aren't aware of, and I don't think I've ever heard another host just say this to their audience. I've said it a couple of times. There is a host advantage in running these conversations. I'm very skilled at interrupting people, and I point out sometimes to the caller that we can interrupt an equal number of times, but if you interrupt in the middle of somebody's sentence, that's very different than jumping in right in the middle, in between two sentences, right between one beat and another to get your word in edgewise. And that's one of the things that in in-person conversation, there's no delay. So you can practice that by having conversations with people. And now, don't go practicing interrupting people. I just mean that having lots of conversations with people in person will allow you to develop some skills for getting a word in edgewise that a lot of callers don't have. But it is worth mentioning that there's a host advantage that you see a version of the show that, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't have any delay because you're hearing and seeing exactly what I see in the time that I see it. But for the caller, there's actually a delay on when they hear me. So their version of the conversation is slightly different than the one that all of us hear. And they are disadvantaged by the fact that a moment that sounds like I interrupted at exactly the right time to you and me maybe sounds like I came in a little bit later to the caller, which means a little bit longer into that next sentence that they just started. When I started hosting on other people's lives as guests, I wondered, because I was aware of this issue, is this going to really negatively affect my debate performance? Because I'm very snappy. I'm very good at getting my word in edgewise and choosing the moment to regain control of the conversation, regain possession of the floor, if we're going to use a sports analogy. I found I can still deal with it, but it's definitely noticeable. When I was on Dean's show, in addition to the fact that I was a little bit had a little bit of stage fright talking to 30,000 people, I definitely noticed that in trying to steamroll in the way that sometimes I need to in order to regain possession of the floor, to just say, hey, you've gotten away from this question 4 times, I'm going to ask it again, that sort of thing. I'm definitely disadvantaged doing that on somebody else's live. So to that point, if the delay is like 5 seconds, not only does the conversation not really just work at all, in any way it might work if we decide to muscle through it, it still just completely hands me the baton in terms of controlling the conversation. And it's legitimately unfair to whoever I'm talking to that I have to control it in that way. And it is also just agonizing to listen to for people when it's like, all right, I've started interrupting him, but everybody knows we have to wait 5 seconds before he even knows that he's being interrupted. It doesn't work out very well. psycrowbob says, and when a guest interrupts, they are just picking the right moment that ends up delayed to you. No, psycrowbob, that's not what happens. No, that's that doesn't explain it all away. One of the things that I do when I start a call is to make sure that the delay is short enough that the conversation will work. And I just gave an example of like me being on somebody else's show. You can go watch me on Dean. You can go watch me on Parker. Those VODs are up. I don't interrupt the shit out of everybody because of the delay. The delay does not explain away the fact that these people don't have this supervisory task running in the back of their head about whether or not this is the right time to interrupt. Quite frankly, I think people underestimate how difficult it is to navigate these conversations in the way that I do. Just even staying on topic, oftentimes with somebody like psycrowbob is very, very, very difficult. See you on someone else that attacks women like the host says. Dude, Husband Cop 89, I'm going to ban you permanently from my channel if you propagate that bullshit again. It's obvious. Like, I hate giving it more airtime, but I'll do it at the beginning of this VOD because it's in the news cycle and the debate scene right now. But if the right is willing to look at a side-by-side of what a message to Dean's account looks like and the messages that are the accusations against him, because there's some bullshit accusations floating around about Dean, and then zoom in and see, nope, that's not the same profile picture. That's a slightly warped Picasso-esque AI generated photo. The exact framing of this like screenshot doesn't quite make sense because it was just generated by AI. If you can't just look at proof that it's AI generated, because it's not even AI generated well, if you can just see that this isn't a real screenshot, that it's clearly AI generated, and then still go over to my live and and say that that there's proof of something like that, like it's a new level of disingenuous, right? It'd be like if E. Jean Carroll's evidence was AI generated and I was covering my eyes and saying, nope, I won't look at it. I won't look at the fact that this photograph of her with Trump is clearly AI generated because both of them have 11 fingers on each hand. It's just fucking like, I'm so amazingly disgusted by the transparency that this Dean drama has given us about some of our regular callers. Popcorn's on my shit list. I don't think he's ever going to appear on the show again for doing it. Husband Cop 89, you've been on my shit list for a long time, but you are demonstrating to everybody with this bullshit LOL you see on someone else that attacks women like Host does. Dean's a perfect match. Husband Cop 89 is also one of these people who goes around and says that I'm a woman beater because I assisted in breaking up a fight where a woman was being attacked. April 11th. You can fucking Google my name. The reason that I'm pending a blue check mark for my TikTok account is because there's enough news stories about me because I have a presence outside of TikTok enough for that to be warranted. And it's for this story where I was somebody who did the fucking uncomfortable thing of rescuing a Nazi from being attacked. And people like the Husband Cop 89 on the screen right here are people who are just going to go around and spout absolute fucking nonsensical falsehoods about what happened. They can watch the video and say that something happened in it that didn't. They can look at this evidence of Dean and say, yep, okay, there's like 8 different ways you can tell that this screenshot is just AI generated. And I will point out, if you're gonna do a fucking hoax, at least open fucking Photoshop and like use a real screenshot of a conversation with somebody and then like Photoshop it so it looks right. They just asked ChatGPT to, or some image generation software to just create some fucking bullshit. Saved a Nazi, what a hero. I think, you know, if I'd let the crowd dismember Savannah Hernandez, that probably would be an L for the left. Also, we did a pretty good job trolling her on Instagram about the fallout on it, about the fact that she's afraid to actually talk with people who were there, even though she allegedly came there to talk with people, including me, who is a professional at talking about this stuff and rescued her. You'd think she'd want to talk to me, but no, she's not interested in that because she's a fucking coward like everybody else in the call. Oscar, let me the fuck up, says keemokazi. We're gonna find out what the fuck he wants really quick, but then we're gonna talk to Steve. We're gonna. Why are you barking at me in the chat, keemokazi?
Bro, Oscar, we never finished our conversation from yesterday, Brody.
Well, I don't think we've actually ever finished any of the conversations we've ever had, keemokazi.
No, we have. Like, you literally, like, you let me up, and then, like, and then you let somebody else up, and then you dipped me in the queue.
You were having connection issues yesterday.
No, remember we were talking, because I got off twice, and then I got back on, and then you had another dude come up, and then you told me to wait, and then we never got back to it.
What even were we talking about, though?
Remember we were talking about the bridge? You were telling me about the bridges, like, being how they were built.
Well, okay, we were talking about the fact that, like, you have to have some trust in experts, and there's a lot of areas in your life where that's really obvious, like that you drive on a bridge, and you just assume that society has functioned well enough to make sure that the people who built the bridge weren't unreasonable, but you have all these other issues, like NASA, where you just look at NASA and you think it's a bunch of fucking nonsense. And I just don't think that that's sensible. There's a lot of really interesting technologies that you use every day that NASA is responsible for developing because they needed to develop interesting solutions to difficult, novel problems to get us into space. So there's all these fun little examples, like the fact that Teflon nonstick pans, which are like an amazing invention that has saved humanity so much labor from fucking having a harder time washing your skillet after cooking your eggs in the morning. That's technology that we developed for the space race, and we used it elsewhere. But I don't think it's a meaningful conversation to continue with you because you weren't receptive to that consideration. The fact that you do trust experts in ways where you obviously need to, because you're not going to be skeptical of every bridge design. But for some reason, you're skeptical of everything that goes against all this slop that you're watching in these shorts that you watch, which is what you're using to educate yourself. And quite frankly, I've been polite enough to you over hours of conversation for enough months to say it this bluntly, keemokazi, but because you're educating yourself with slop videos in an algorithm, you're just making yourself stupid. That's what you're doing when you spend all that time on your phone.
I don't really be watching them, but
you bring me examples of the things that you believe, and you say that you saw it in a clip. You always say that you saw it in a clip, and then you can't, and you tell me that you can't find the clip, and then we try to go find any other source about the things that you bring me. So it is just, oh gosh darn it, is there no caller sound on YouTube again? What is going on with that? Here, can you speak, keemokazi?
Yeah, I can speak.
No, that's not true. There is sound on YouTube. Somebody's fucking with me. Sorry. But yeah, I just don't know how important it's going to be to have a conversation with you of any kind when that's the case. You just reject it
Well, I
all.
wanted to talk to you about the Dean Withers situation. Have you been up on that?
Yeah, I'm thoroughly up to date on that.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of fucked up what they've done to Dean, but because I don't really like Dean, but I think it's definitely wrong. But like,
I really appreciate what you just said. You just said one of the first like truly good faith and honest things I think I've ever seen you say on my show, which is that you don't have to like Dean to know that what's happening to him right now is just not okay.
I don't get why people do that shit. It's definitely fucked up, but
I want to make the comparison because people are talking about allegations and all of these people who are after Dean, and I hate that I consider it. Like, I made the decision this morning when I thought, am I going to talk about the Dean thing on my show? And I thought, no, people are going to bring it to me. I'm good at dispelling bullshit. Molly Ann, maybe we'll fucking talk to Molly Ann. Maybe this will be the shoveling shit for Dean episode. The people who are saying that these allegations against Dean are credible are the same people who discredit E. Jean Carroll, even though there is a court case about it. Even though a jury of 9 unanimously said that Trump did what E. Jean Carroll alleges he did, they are going to throw that out, but they are going to pretend that an obviously AI generated screenshot is evidence of Dean having done fucking anything.
I'm not gonna lie, that shit was obviously fake. Like
it sounds to me like maybe you watched the little PowerPoint where Dean showed the screenshots that are floating around. Yeah, and he showed that you can just zoom in and say this isn't even a screenshot of TikTok. This is an AI generated slap. It's Molly Ann says it's not obviously fake. It fucking is. Like you go watch Dean's VOD from not yesterday, the day before. He had a fucking, pretty sure that's right. It was Friday? Yeah, it's Friday night. Whatever episode of Dean that was. Go watch it. And if you are going to tell me that you believe, because he compared an actual screenshot of a conversation with Dean. And I actually, when I was watching it, I had it fucking open because I have DMs with Dean. So I was like looking at my DMs and looking at the screen with him. And I'm like, yeah, this is not an actual screenshot. The fucking profile picture. He has had the same profile picture for like years. It's the same, or it's like the same picture, but it's all warped and fucked up in the way that AI warps and fucks up things. Dude, Molly Ann, no. That you're making up solutions to this that don't exist. There is no distortion that happens from taking a screenshot that would explain what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about it being blurry. I'm not talking about it being compressed. I'm not talking about the resolution having changed. I'm not talking about the contrast having changed. I'm not talking about a beauty filter. I'm not talking about anything of that sort. I'm talking about it being a different picture than it. And I'm not just talking about the profile picture. The actual page itself just isn't right. It's not good evidence. If Trump or E. Jean Carroll had presented evidence that obviously false in the courtroom, not only would it be thrown out as evidence, it would be a crime to present evidence to the court that is fraudulent in that way. That where's law of the wild? Maybe I would assume that's a crime. I hope that's not just a civil offense, right? But it's definitely illegal to lie to the courts in that way. So if E. Jean Carroll had presented evidence from the 90s that was fabricated in that way, the case would have been fucking thrown out and she would have seen the consequences for whatever was necessary. So we've got cowards like Molly who are going to go around and cause us to spend time looking at this. But I'm going to try to bend this into good. I'm going to say, if we're going to talk about Dean, we got to talk about E. Jean Carroll in the same breath, because E. Jean Carroll has a mountain of evidence that is better than the non-evidence that exists around Dean, because this is just a prank. I hate to call it a prank because it's a serious crime people are committing by fucking with people in this way. There's some poor girl that people are using as the like scapegoat for the person who, like, the people who did this hoax. I did identity fraud on some poor girl somewhere to make it look like she was the one who did the hoax or she's the one doing the allegations. So now there's people attacking her who are meaning well, but they've fallen for it because they're attacking her for attacking Dean, even though she's not the one who did it. Like, this is just a horrible thing that these people have done, and it's transparent as day. Like, when I say it's transparent as day, it'd be as though E. Jean Carroll had presented a photograph of her standing with Donald Trump, and Trump's lawyer went over and peeled Donald Trump off of it because she had cut him out and glued him on and said, "Look at this picture of us together." It's that level of of disingenuous bullshit. Keem, I think you understand that. I think maybe you've actually been shown enough evidence to know that this is fucking wrong and this is bullshit.
Yeah, I don't like Dean at all. Like personally, how he talks to people, I don't like him. But yeah, that's obviously fake. It's stupid. But I got a question for you since you're like kind of friends with Dean now. Why does he like to like make jokes about Charlie Kirk's death and shit?
I've been unleashing the floodgates on my Charlie Kirk jokes because the president makes fun of dead people, and because people who call into my show regularly make fun of my dead neighbors and other people who have died in this thing, that I just think that it's we need to stop clutching our pearls. So you know, it's yeah, I think if you care that Dean, I mean, I don't even know of Dean really saying anything about Charlie Kirk in that way, by the way. I don't really know that he's pretty careful to
About the time.
I have told Charlie Kirk jokes on the air. I'm not ashamed of it. I will talk about it. But if you think that me doing it's a problem, then you need to consider it a problem that Donald Trump celebrates the death of his political opponents actually pretty fucking regularly.
Yeah, but there's a difference. We're talking about Charlie. What did Charlie Kirk do to you, though? Like we're not talking about. We're talking about Trump. We're talking about Charlie Kirk.
I'm sorry, keemokazi. This is important. Do you think that somebody has to do something to you personally in order for you to treat them with disrespect, to treat them with earned disrespect?
I mean, not all the time, but you're doing it to somebody who hasn't really done anything bad to you. He's actually helped us.
But he's done bad things to humanity.
Okay, like what? Proved everyone wrong. Been a good debater. Would cook Dean and Parker in a debate 2-on-1.
I've seen the clip of him being such a coward about wanting to debate Parker. Like Parker called him to his face a coward. The fact that keemokazi, please listen. The fact that you think he was a good debater and that you're convinced of a bunch of his stuff, that's the harm that he caused. I know that you and I disagree about a lot of things, and you're not going to accept yourself as an example of this. But Charlie Kirk was very good at making young people believe things that are wrong and harmful to society. And I think that you're just one such young person, and that's a shame. I think that it's quite horrible what he did with his life.
I think he had quite very good evidence, and I think he was one of the good ones left, honestly.
I think that he had a debate strategy that was effective at people who weren't very knowledgeable about the topics that they were discussing.
Oh, so he was...
keemokazi, if I was only concerned with making you believe me, and I wasn't concerned with making good arguments that hold up to academic rigor, that hold up to intellectual rigor, that are journalistically, that have journalistic integrity, I could probably car salesman you into believing some bullshit. It's just not how I operate, but that's how Charlie Kirk operated. He was deeply disingenuous, deeply dishonest.
I can tell you what you, Dean, and Parker all do. So y'all like to talk over people, pin them against the wall, get them with all this stupid BS, and just like don't like whenever they have a good point, y'all like to talk over it, get something else in the way, and just like pin the person against the wall. That's what y'all do. Literally, all y'all do.
Well, but when I talk over somebody, it's usually because we're getting away from a really important component of the conversation, and I need to get back to it. That's important. And Charlie Kirk would do the sort of thing that would cause me to interrupt him in that way, where it's like, nope, you're getting away from the specific question. Nope, that comparison is bad that you're making. Nope, that doesn't logically follow from what you said. You cannot assert that I believe that based on what I just said. That's an unfair characterization of my belief. If I was in a conversation with Charlie Kirk, those are the things I would have to say, because he would really race away from some of the things that are actually substantive about the conversation and get onto his car salesman bullshit to convince people like you that he has a reasonable worldview when he very clearly does not.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm starting to think it might be a little bit of karma on Dean, honestly, because this is gonna be big, bro. Like, I don't know if you know, this is gonna be big on what happens to Dean. This could take him anywhere. Who knows?
What do you mean karma? You think what's happening to Dean is good because of something he's done in the past?
No, I don't think it's good. I just think it might be karma.
I don't know what you mean.
For all the shit he's done, said, made jokes about Charlie Kirk, all that shit could be coming back to bite him.
Do you believe in karma?
Yeah, I do.
Do you believe that if you do something bad, the universe is gonna in some way come like find you about it?
No, I just think it's happening. I don't know. Maybe.
No, but like you're saying it's karma. Are you like what I'm asking you, keemokazi, is karma just a label you put on something where you where you don't care that something bad happened to somebody because they had done something bad in the past, or do you actually think that the bad thing they did in the past caused the bad thing to happen later,
No,
like magically?
it happens every day with him. He makes.
I don't think you understood my question.
Reset it.
My question is, when you say it was karma, do you think that karma exists and is a magical force that actually causes something bad to happen to somebody later as a punishment for something they did in the past? Or do you just call it karma to say that you're okay with something bad happening to somebody who had done something that you don't like?
I just say it's karma, honestly.
Right, but so you don't believe it's a magical force that's causing this to happen to Dean because of bad things. You just don't care that this is happening to Dean because... What?
Just a term, yeah.
Right, okay, but that's in conflict with the first thing that you said when this topic came up, because you told me that this shouldn't, even though you don't like Dean, it's not acceptable that this is happening to him. But you just explained to me that when you say it's karma, that means that you think...
I'm saying it could be karma.
Well, but it's not. But you just defined karma in a way that it's your own determination about whether or not he deserves it. Do you, yes or no? Do you think that Dean deserves this to be happening to him? These very obviously false allegations being propagated.
Nobody would deserve to be accused of raping somebody, a minor, at that. Wait, was it a minor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no one should be accused of rape like that on the internet. Yeah, it's cooked.
Right, okay. So can you please take back what you just said about Dean? It sounds like you don't actually believe it.
About what? What'd I say?
About how this is maybe karma for Dean, and he deserves it because of things that he's done?
No, I don't think he deserves it. I'm just saying it could be karma of what's getting him back, why he's getting this.
I'm going to let you go, Chemo, for today. If you're not able to track that basic question I had about karma, you were already up longer than I wanted to have you up, and it's really heavy shit that we're talking about with Dean. Like it's just like not okay what's going on, and you gotta stay away from that sort of subject matter, dude. If you can't like follow a basic question like that, like that's a big problem. Having a problem with my backup account. One of my phones here won't switch to the correct account. Don't know why. Don't know why not. Why would a TikTok app have such a hard time switching accounts? I'd actually appreciate if I could get a mod to join, or anybody who doesn't mind sitting in the corner for the show, because it's off screen on YouTube, and I'm supposed to have 2 accounts down here. But for some reason, I guess I could just do it from this phone. Sorry. I don't have my producer today. I'm all alone. All right, I'm just going to do it from this account, and we're going to have to teacup to check things. Yeah, I see. Well, I'm just going to use this phone and teacup for the most. Whoops. Let's get that muted. Yeah, thanks. Well, I'll just manage it this way. I can be teacupped on this phone. It's no big deal. Someone sent $5. They became a member for $5 over on Buy Me a Coffee. Someone sent $5. Someone is their username. They're not just some random someone. Keep the show going, and please come out to Texas to visit more fans than just keemokazi. Yeah, I told keemokazi that I'm trying to get more travel done. We have some East Coast stuff planned soon. So I do want to go to Texas. It's among the places I go. And if I go to Texas, I straight up will carve out some time to show keemokazi that the earth isn't flat with a telescope. Like, we can do some astronomy together. I was the astronomy tutor, so we can like look at some stuff together. Let's read some YouTube super chats, and then we'll talk to David. Because we got to read the super chats before David's on the line. Because if I read the super chats while David's on the line, he runs away. So we're not going to do that. Sam sent $5 today. Oscar going live every day inspires me to work harder each day. Can't wait for the members only tonight. Toss up on that. I'm waiting for someone to reach out about this evening. This evening might be canceled. Don't really need to get into why, but I might start moving to a more flexible schedule with the evening programming. It's been certain guests are hard to pin down because we want some oppositional guests or maybe some more interesting character type guests, and they're not the most reliable people. So I've been burned a few times announcing things about the show that didn't end up happening. So there's a big stack of friendlies who want to come on, but it's like kind of actually hard to just pin down opposition and get them to like show up on time. So tonight's up in the air, but if the evening programming, the evening show, and the members only don't happen tonight, they'll happen another night this week. I'll make sure I get another night in before this coming Sunday, to make up for it. But so we'll see. All right, let's pop over to Venmo. Nothing new in the Venmo. Good. I can just get on with David. After I read the rest of these super chats. Sorry, I'm not awake yet today. Talking to keemokazi puts me to sleep. Canadian Princess sent $5 to say Charlie Kirk was a rancid bigot who actively harmed minorities through his rhetoric. His beliefs are reprehensible and doesn't deserve to be respected. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not interested in I don't think we have to respect the dead necessarily. I think you can be a shitty enough person that it doesn't matter that you're dead. Nobody's honoring Hitler, right? That's not true. Loads of people are honoring Hitler, and that's the fucking problem. It's the same people who are honoring. There's too big an overlap. The people who honor Charlie Kirk in the wake of his existence, and the people who honor Hitler in the wake of his. Those groups overlap concerningly. Pararum sent $10 to say Charlie Kirk knowingly misrepresented DEI in order to spread harmful and hateful misinformation that aligned with Nazi ideology. His silence is beautiful. Yeah, and I'm sitting here mopping up the fucking mess. I talk to people who think that DEI is what Charlie Kirk said it was, and I have to fucking deal with that. I have to convince these people that they were just lied to their face about what DEI is, so that when they tell me that it's bad, I need them to understand that they are describing something that would be bad if we were doing it, but we're not. It's not what DEI is. Mr. James Bond-Tube said, what happened to Charlie Kirk was karma. There you go, keemokazi. Maybe what happened to Charlie Kirk was karma, if you want to go that way. I don't think keemokazi would appreciate that joke. Well, and I don't think that David would appreciate that joke, but we're going to find out what David wants to talk about on this beautiful Sunday. What's going on, David? You're 55? I get your age right finally?
What is up with Oskar? Is the grift going well?
Yeah, check out the new studio. It's going fantastically.
You've got some loyal fans that have some rage issues with Trump, and you will play that all the way until you're a rich man.
I don't think that's really what I'm doing.
Okay. By the way, Oskar with a K, do you have a health insurance by chance?
I don't.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pretty lame.
That's responsible of you, Oskar with a K.
I've been trying to get back on the stage. This is kind of messy, but yeah.
Are you on your parents' plan?
I'm 31.
Oh, so you're a 31-year-old grown man with no health insurance.
Yeah, it's a shame that our system...
Very responsible. I think everybody should take that path. So you used to be a teacher, from what I understand, right?
Yep.
So with that job, did you have health insurance?
No.
What? Teachers don't get health insurance?
Not substitute teachers, no.
Oh, so this teacher flex is bullshit.
I've been a lifelong educator. I've had a lot of different teaching jobs. I've been straightforward about what my job teaching was.
Oh, so you're a substitute teacher. Why didn't you become a regular full-time teacher?
They offered me a job as a full-time teacher for the fall. I declined it because I was it was the same week I went to resign to work this show full-time. They offered. I only worked at that school for a year.
The job they offered.
It was a job I got in the fall.
Health insurance?
Yeah, the job that offered would have had health insurance. Yeah.
It did. Oh, okay. So it's better to take a job without health insurance as far as being in your position. Well, I'm sure you're very healthy, so I'm sure you don't need health insurance.
I think I need surgery on my ankle, and I'm going to go to Canada to do it.
Well, here's the deal. Go to the emergency room and
I'm going to go to Canada and do it. I'm a Canadian citizen also, so I'm just going to go to Canada, and they're going to fix my ankle.
Nice job. So, or you could just go to the emergency room and have them do it, and then we'll pay for it.
No, it's not the sort of thing like that. I just have like a little. I have a little torn ligament on the side of my foot, so like I can walk, but I have a high risk of re-injuring it, and it doesn't work right. It's hard for me to lift my foot up. Like that doesn't work properly. So it's not an emergency. The emergency room's not going to help me with it. I'm not in any pain.
Wait until it is. Let's wait until it is an emergency.
But because Canada is flexing so hard on us on being a better developed nation that cares for people who have such things, I'm just going to go there and they're going to fix it for me for free.
Can we all go to Canada for free health care?
I don't know how that works. I'm a Canadian citizen, so I can.
Are you dual citizen?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. That's a benefit for you.
It's lucky, yeah. Canada extends their birthright citizenship rules one generation, so I have American birthright citizenship because I was born here, but my mom was born in Canada, so I'm just going to renew my passport and go get some health care in Canada, because, yeah.
I think that the United States citizens, should be able to use the Canadian system for healthcare, since we supplement their military defense. It's just a trade-off. It seems only fair.
Why can't we do it? Why can't we just have our own healthcare system?
We don't need it. Canada
do you
has
think that we should become dependent on Canada for healthcare? That sounds like weakness.
Not at all. So I think since we protect them with our military and they spend nothing on that, we could use their health care. It's a fair trade. We'll take care of the military. They take care of the health.
Send that right up the chain. Get that all the way up to the United States. The United States Supreme Court. They'll figure it out. They'll do. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Why are you saying these words to me? Why are you on my show?
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're using the Canadian healthcare system.
Yeah, because ours is so broken that they're not going to fix my foot.
So that's what I'm saying.
I don't think people have sent me enough Venmos for foot surgery.
We should all get to do that. Right?
I mean, I don't think that we should have to go to Canada for it. We should just do it here. That'd be better. That'd be silly. That's not a very efficient solution. It's a bummer that I have to go to Canada. Not really. I'm going to visit some family, but like, I have to plan that trip sooner than I otherwise would, so my foot will work again. I wish I could just go to the hospital here and do it. That'd be so much better.
Are you doing this because you decided it was better to take a job with no health coverage versus one that did give you health coverage?
I did, in weighing the pros and cons of quitting that job and doing this full time. That is a thing I considered, and the pros of doing this did outweigh the cons. I took on the personal risk of not having health insurance, and that's...
Is it a risk because you got the Canadian backup?
Well, the risk is that I have to go to Canada for healthcare. So if I had something more urgent, it would be a much bigger disruption of my life. But what's going on with my foot isn't all that urgent. So
could you possibly have some sort of major accident and have a real problem?
Yeah, that'd be really bad.
And then what would happen?
I could be bankrupted by such a situation.
Yeah, but would they? So what? Would they treat you? Though they would treat you.
Well, they'd give me the emergency care that I need, but when you have like an emergency, like a trauma, like if I'm in a car accident or something, I'd get the emergency room care. They'd keep me alive. They'd patch me up. They'd bill the shit out of me. I wouldn't get any physical therapy. I wouldn't get like a lot of the surgeries that you can get following up a trauma are things that would be considered non-emergency. So it's like, oh yeah, we saved your life, but now your leg doesn't work. The surgery to fix your leg isn't going to save your life. It's just going to make your leg work again. So then I'd be back in the same situation. I have to go to Canada or bankrupt myself or whatever. And that's just kind of a shitty state of affairs. Not everybody's like, I'm not sitting here complaining about it because I'm privileged. I can afford to go to Canada, and I happen to have like, a right to citizenship there because of my family's history there. So like, I'm not complaining. I'm one of the lucky ones. I try to complain on the behalf of people who aren't as lucky as myself.
I kind of think that anybody that doesn't have health insurance currently in the United States should be able to go to Canada. Why do you think that we should have them go to Canada instead of just paying for their healthcare here? Well, because Oscar, we spend a lot of money on our military spending. Canada does not, right? They do not. They use ours.
Do you think that it like the preamble of the Constitution is a part of the Constitution I talk about a lot? And I reference the fact that it says in it.
Oscar?
I'm talking specifically about talking specifically about our military relationship with Canada.
Gallop all over.
I'm going to bring us right there because all I was going to say is that the government exists to promote the general defense or the common defense and the general welfare. And we're kind of talking about those two things. We're talking about the military and we're talking about healthcare. So you're upset
that we're hand in hand, Oscar. Oscar, if Canada had to actually spend the money to defend their own country where they should be, would they be able to actually do...
I'm sorry. I think that you're the one who's gish galloping now because I was talking about how the preamble of the Constitution
together, Oscar.
You know what? I'm maybe it'll scare you away. Maybe it'll scare you away, but I'm not as entertained by the conversation as I hoped I'd be, so I am going to read some donation messages.
Oscar, we don't want to talk about
Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for the $2 on Cash App. I love watching you beat down maggots. Thank you.
I think a grown, responsible adult
I need you to
gets health insurance.
David, please shut up.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, don't mute him. I'm just going to do the bit. I don't want to mute it. I just want him to behave himself.
Sure
David, please stop talking. David,
don't get health insurance.
Why are you on my show, David? Why do you do this?
Why don't you have health insurance, Oscar?
We just had a long conversation about that.
Oscar with
Lisa, Thank you for the $4 on Cash App.
Okay.
We could stop
Is
paying
it
for Israel's
smart for
healthcare.
you
Do you think
not
it's
to have health insurance?
Do you think it's good that we're paying for free healthcare in Israel, but we're not paying for it here?
I think it's good that we should all get free healthcare in Canada. We should all get the Oscar treatment.
Dude, you're not even trying to like make sense. Like it's just I'm just gonna read
Oscar.
the donations.
Come on, buddy.
Chapopot sent $5 to say,
I've
how
made
does
you
jokes
enough money.
about the dead equal
I
false
hope-
rape accusations
I
on the
hope you
karmic
get enough
scale?
money
LOL, come
to
on
get
now.
health insurance.
Dude,
I hope I raise you money to get health insurance. I hope you get enough to buy a premium this month so that you don't have to mooch off Canada.
David, why are you like this?
Because I like playing with the mentally ill.
You enjoy playing with mentally ill people?
Yes.
That's
you're
fucking
the
psychotic.
example. Well, it is what it is. You're the example of it.
I come on here and I advocate for... Oh, did he run? Wow, what a bitch. Canada spends nearly $40 billion on military/defense. Thank you, Tavi. I was going to look that up too, but I just didn't really feel like fucking wasting my time Googling shit for David he's not going to listen to. Cheez-It sent $2 to say, we need a Kyle's Mom's a Bee parody for little David. Well, Kyle's Mom's a bitch, she's a big fat bitch. Or no, it's not Kyle's Mom's. David is a bitch, he's a big fat bitch, he's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world, if there ever was a bitch. I gotta look that up. I gotta hit up Fernando Unfred or whatever his name on Instagram and have him record it. He'd do a way better job than me. Canadian Princess sent $5 to say, I'll happily help Americans who need healthcare. Unlike David, I have empathy and want people to live happy lives. He wants people to suffer. Yeah, that was his sign off for the day, is that he wanted to suffer. Try harder next time is in the queue. He says I booted him. I didn't. Chapotpot sent $5 to say, this is a seriously stupid argument from David. He came prepared with this to avoid a real argument. Pointless argument. Yeah, like I'm pretty transparent about my life and the finances of the show and stuff. So like if people want to fucking talk to me about it, they can. Try harder next time. You can stay in the queue. You're there. If you think I'm kicking people, I wish that whatever happens to a guest, whether they get auto removed, whether the mods kick them or I kick them or they run, I want a pop-up to come up on the screen and tell everybody what happened. TikTok, get on it. I'm so fucking tired of being accused of removing the runners. Like, show us the receipts. Just put them on the screen. That's what I want. That's what I beg for. I don't use the mute button on my show. If you can't fucking behave yourself, that's your problem. I announce it if I ever have to mute somebody so I can read a donation message or something, which I consider important for the show, because those are the people who pay for the show. So I'll use the mute button for that. But like, it's in 2 or 4 hours of the show of showtime a day. It's like once every 2 weeks, I feel the need to actually just mute somebody because they've just been yelling for too long without listening to me trying to tell them to stop yelling. And I say, okay, I'm muting you now. I announce it right now. But seriously, TikTok, I'm so sick of people being able to lie about whether or not they're the ones doing the muting or doing the kicking or whatever. Like, get the fuck on it. Fix that problem. If you enjoy the way I don't use the mute button, if you enjoy the way that I run the show, you can go to the Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon in the link tree in the bio, and you can send me a message like Mod Will did for $5. He said, "Fuck you, David," for $5. Get your message read on the show. Goblin Bags always sends a fun message. Hey, bitch David, stop coming on if you hate Oscar so much for being able to mentally corner you and other chuds. You never talk politics and only sling hate because you're a small person who loses anytime he is challenged. You always look like a bitch. I read that in the ad voice because he always does silly ad reads for his messages. That one wasn't really a silly ad read, but I did in the voice anyway. Anyway, thank you, Goblin Bags. I appreciate you. Vicky sent $3 to say, hey, David, get fucked. Oscar is the reason we need universal healthcare. I've worked hard all my life and never offered insurance until 2011, and that was shit insurance. I'm retired now, so thankfully for now, I've got both Medicare and Medicaid. Yeah, I'm not going to complain about myself. I'm in generally good health. Did injure myself because I got some of that hyperlaxity, so ankle injuries. It took me 31 years to fucking actually tear something finally, but oh well, I'll be okay. Be annoying for a little while, but anyway. Thanks everybody for making me a person who doesn't have to worry about my life being in fucking shambles because I'm like mildly injured. It's nice. I definitely appreciate that. Oh, and Max, I should have shouted him out at the beginning of the show. Max sent $50 on Buy Me a Coffee yesterday, like right after the show. I think he finished the show late yesterday, so he messaged it afterwards. I forget what in particular I think it was for. I think I saw a YouTube comment that was him, that was something he cared about in yesterday's episode. But thank you for the $50. The message he put on there was just supporting you. Thank you for that. All right, let's hop back in so I don't lose the teacup account. For whatever reason, this phone won't switch accounts. It's like stuck on the main one. Oh, it worked. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to fix this really quick. I am going to leave. Yes. And then over here on this one, Sorry, everybody, for doing management work while on the air. I hired somebody to do that, but it doesn't always work out scheduling wise. Jessie is a performing musician, and she'll always get a pass when she's out late because she was on stage screaming at midnight. Okay, so now I've joined, but now it's frozen. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for Leon the kitten. It says I don't have good art. I'm going to leave and come back. Sorry, everybody. We're going to get to... Oh, look, try harder next time. The people ahead of you in the queue weren't as patient as you. So you're actually not next, but there's one person ahead of you. So maybe we'll actually get to... Maybe we'll actually get to have a conversation. Yeah, now it doesn't want to join. What is going on with this phone? It's a newer iPhone. Shouldn't be having trouble. One more try, and then I'm just going to go back to doing it the way I was doing it before. I don't want to give it too much airtime. And I really do want to talk to DeGoat Giltrup, or whatever. Yeah, I think TikTok's just having trouble on this phone. I just refreshed the app, and it doesn't want to open. But ideally, I can get that backup account in here before the next caller, so that the box in the corner is in the right spot on the screen. I'm going to let that app try to wake itself back up. Oh, here we go. Oh, how weird. It doesn't want to... Let's leave this one. Sorry. I've gotten so good at getting rid of dead air that it makes me very uncomfortable when I have a moment where I need to deal with something on the air. But that probably means I'm doing something right. Yeah, it says that I'm joining, but the screen is frozen. Join. Mute. Saying turn the phone off and on again. I might do just that. It says poor connection, but these everything's on the same Wi-Fi. All right, I'm gonna power this off, and we're gonna go back to this phone. Ah, this is such a dumb problem. All right. This one I know will work. All right, sorry for the delay, everybody. We're gonna talk to the goat. Guilt Trap. After I read a couple more YouTube super chats. Dave's a special kind of stupid. So you should take a job just because of the insurance? The answer isn't a better system instead of blaming the victim? Yeah, that's the type of bitch that David is. Burger World sent $5 to say, I think responsible adults spend their time more wisely than calling into TikTok lives to play with the mentally ill. That's what David said, and I feel like I'm just going to keep bringing that up. DeGoat, how old are you?
Oh, do I have to be over 18?
You do. Goodbye.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Where did that coward go? What was even his name? The guy who was accusing me of kicking people. Try harder next time. Are you still in here? Get back here. That's the thing. It took me 2 seconds to fix a quick little tech issue, or at least try to address a little tech issue. And that dude ran because they don't have patience. Kids these days don't have. Yeah. Did Cry Harder Next Time leave? I think he might have left. Because he couldn't be patient for 2 seconds. He's going to say that I somehow kicked him out or banned him or something. Live for my babies. Thank you for the $50. He or she says, David is so jealous. Thank you for the $50. He is. I don't know. I try to... we see it happen sometimes where I just give somebody entirely too much of a shot to have a meaningful conversation of some kind on the show. And it really just is. I have a genuine personal curiosity about people like David. What the fuck is going on with that guy? Is the bitch David who comes on my show a character that guy plays because he's an asshole and wants to play with what he considers to be mentally ill people online? Or does the waitress at his local diner fucking hate him for the same reason that the rest of us do? Is he actually just that broken inside that he's like that all the time? I don't know. I think maybe. I think there's a pretty good possibility that he is just like that all the time. But I also don't know. So, but we learn a little bit. And when I almost feel like he knew that he kind of slipped when he said that he likes playing with the mentally ill, because he basically admitted that what he's doing is horrible, and he's okay with that. Okay, wait, hold on. We got one more person in the queue, but this phone has restarted. So here, we're gonna try it again. We're all gonna believe in it this time. Not that I think that that's gonna make a difference. I don't believe in that sort of thing. But we're all gonna hope that it works. All right. This time it's not frozen. Guest request sent. Is it gonna work? Yay, worked that time. Turning the phone off and on again did fix it. I find that I spent a lot of time uploading videos to the 4 different apps and like using them, and there's a bunch of bugs that are like reliable that you'd think these big tech companies would just have sorted out by now. Nope. But yes, turning it off and on again did the trick. Ketsida, I don't know how to pronounce this username. It's got an umlaut in it, but it doesn't look German. Anyway, they're our next caller. We'll see what they want to talk about. Nope. They didn't mean to join. I don't think they meant to join. No callers. It's just trolls and children, right? Like there's nobody serious left. Like when I say that MAGA is a cult of lies, hate, and fear, I mean it. Like kind of literally. It's rage bait, but I really do think it is just this cult of complete fucking lies. And it's just becoming rarer and rarer that we find somebody who's actually just drank the Kool-Aid. I mean, it's mostly just people who know that it's a cult of lies, hate, and fear. LittleSalPal says that LittleSalPal, hop in the guest request queue. I want to talk to you for a second. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Get back in the request queue. Sorry, I just missed with the mouse. Okay, all right. I popped into his live because he mentioned on this show that he wanted to do some lives, and so I followed him. So I got your live link through the Discord. Everybody follow this dude. There's 600 of you watching. I don't care if you're mowing your lawn. Take your phone out of your pocket and follow LittleSalPal. I watched him do his first debate yesterday, and he was better at it. You were better at your first debate than I was at my 100th debate. So I'm excited to watch you. You obviously bring the proper lifelong wealth of knowledge that's necessary to be good at navigating these conversations. So I'm just excited for LittleSalPal getting started. Because how long were you live yesterday?
A little over 2 hours, about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. No, I listened for like a half hour of it when you had that first very reprehensible caller, which a caller as reprehensible as that white supremacist you talked to is like kind of little bit of a softball for a first debate because his position is just so reprehensible that you can kind of just say anything you want about it. You don't have to like take a particularly nuanced approach with somebody who's like white people are better. But you did it with such grace that it's like, oh, you're like really clowning on him in terms of who's serious in this conversation. So anyway, I don't have anybody else in the queue. I just wanted to give you a commercial. I really appreciate you. And I don't know if you were there for the end, but when that dude left, he actually thanked me and said he felt like I educated him on a few things. So that right there was like, well, shit, if nothing else was worth it for that. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. You've got 203 followers. It was 200 a second ago. It can be 250 before I let you down. Seriously, there's 600 people watching on TikTok. Very few of them listen to my instruction. I don't often push this hard for people to like take out their phone and do a thing. But like, guys, seriously. Oh, there we go. 227. That's bigger. 233.
I saw someone in the chat ask if I debate MAGA or non-MAGA people as well. I'll also debate non-MAGA. Looking for people on the right. So yeah, similar to Oskar.
Well, and when you're new, you're not, when you don't have as big a following, you don't get as many callers right away. So you kind of take what you can get. Take what you can get. And I definitely saw you exercising maybe a little lenience on people being like, you got to do that. You got to just take the calls that you can get. Look at that. Blew right past that 250. It's 287 right now. Shit. Get you at least
there was
300.
one guy where the conversation started getting real racial, and I flat out told him, I was like, hey, man, if we continue the conversation in this direction, I'm going to ask you to turn your camera on. I don't want that to turn into a big fight, so can we steer the conversation somewhere else so I don't have to do that?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I got to take what I can get, and I don't want to have to kick more people out than I need to right now,
Right. And that's like the sort of thing. It's like you can ban yourself into a dark corner when you're brand new by just banning the people that are in your little circle on TikTok, and then you don't have any callers. And so you have to be careful on that. Even a channel my size, we still talk about it with the mods where it's like, maybe we should go back and like give some people a second chance. Like maybe some people who've been banned in the chat for whatever nonsense months ago would be interesting callers. but like we just like I looked at the ban list and it's like, whoa, I've got a crazy long ban list. The mods have been at work, but because there's tons of people who need to be banned in the chat. But yeah. Anyway, I think I may have doubled your following count. That's what I felt like doing with my Sunday morning. Because
Oh man, you're awesome, Oscar.
You're good at it, man. You're gonna. I'm excited to watch. I know you're gonna be live like a lot over the next week because you've got some time off. So I can't wait to keep watching you practice and just like. One of the things that's difficult about getting started as a live host is that there's so many talking points that you just have to know the answer to, because like when I started, people would bring me like this random thing, like what's even an example, like a statistic about how somebody brought me one yesterday that I had to figure out live on the air, which was that like 70% of Somali Americans are on benefits, and it's like no, 70% of households have somebody in the household who at some point has benefits or has some kind of benefits, which is a waste in terms of how many people that actually is. That's a disingenuous representation of the number. It's like that's not true to say that 70% of Somali individuals are. Here we go. We have Proletariat. He's going to have a word in edgewise that's clearer than what I have to say about that because he's the expert on that sort of thing.
This is why Left Talk has a crow. This is why Left Talk has a
Yes.
crow. I am like the fucking. I am the answer of the crow signal for all things social programs. You've seen me. I'm like Visa. I'm everywhere you want to fucking be because like everybody on every live pulls me up at some point for this exact thing.
Yeah. And the thing I'm getting at is that there's just so many little pieces of expertise where like it doesn't matter if you have a fucking doctorate in a complicated field and you're a competent, well-read person. It's just the right has engineered questions that are hard to answer unless you happen to know the exact thing they're referencing and exactly when somebody brings somebody the FAIR study, it's like I know comprehensively why the FAIR study is bullshit, so I can dispel that quickly. But there's a lot to learn there. But you serve yourself well by having such a good foundation in your communication skills and your knowledge to begin with. So you are now embarking on the journey of learning all the difficult things that it's going to be hard to bat down when people bring them to you. But you don't have to work as hard on the rest of it.
I think what helps people like Oscar and a lot of newer creators fail in is a willingness to go, I didn't know that shit, but I know a guy who does.
Well, and that's just it. It's that like especially when I bring somebody like Crow up, who I consider such an asset to the show, it's people say, oh, you're ganging up on him, and it's like, well, isn't it supposed to be your claim versus the truth? Like, who cares how many of us there are? Like, there's something to be said for a 2v1 or a 3v1 debate being, one, just maybe a little difficult to moderate, and two, just like definitely hurts the chances of the person, regardless of whether or not their claim is good or bad. But you should be able to deal with your claim being scrutinized, regardless of where the scrutiny is coming from. So, like, if somebody says, like, it's not illegal to do that, and I say, I think it is illegal, and then Law of the Wild comes up and says, yep, it is illegal, here's the law. It's not L host for me not knowing that. It's just that it's like, all right, let me confer with a lawyer really quick on whether or not that particular thing is illegal.
Yeah, for sure. I see some people asking in the chat. I'm not going live today. Sunday is typically the day I try to spend a bunch of time with my daughter. But Monday through Friday this next week, I'm going to be trying to go live every day, like early afternoon.
Yeah. And
to clarify what you're talking about, Oscar, the misrepresentation the right does on the migrant SNAP statistic. Like if you pull up remember that report the Republicans released about how many migrant households are on SNAP overall? They're counting any household that a migrant lives in. So let's say you were undocumented, Oscar, and I'm a U.S. citizen, and you're my roommate, right? And I'm on SNAP. That now gets counted as a household that a migrant is in that is on SNAP because I, a completely eligible person, am getting SNAP, and you happen to share the real estate, the property line with me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just very fundamentally disingenuous. A lot of these sources, and it takes so much time and experience to be able to shoot them down quickly. And I'm pretty good at getting them. Pretty good at getting them shot down on the air if I can tell if a source is lying to me pretty quickly, but sometimes it just is time consuming, and it means at the end of the day that what they're doing is effective because they are stalling. If you can clog up my show by having me spend 12 minutes trying to figure out why this source is saying that I'm wrong, even though I'm pretty sure I'm right, because every other source I've ever read and all the classes I took in college and all the books I've read and all the experts I've talked to, they all say I'm right. Why does this source say that I'm wrong? It's like, I could just say this source is definitely bullshit because everything I've learned in my entire life says otherwise, but that doesn't make a very good show, and that certainly doesn't show the opposition in the chat that I know what I'm talking about. So I end up wasting 12 minutes of my show digging because maybe I don't have Proletariat to show up and rescue me from it or whatever it is. And I have to do that in order, like, to maintain the honesty, of course. But it is successful at making me spend 12 minutes dispelling some bullshit instead of actually talking to somebody, potentially changing a mind, potentially getting some youngster to see that Charlie Kirk was like actually a disingenuous, monstrous asshole.
While we're here, I had a relatively new argument brought up to me yesterday by my second caller, and maybe Proletariat might have some interesting insights on it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The caller was actually a Black Mexican American. So one of his parents was Mexican, his parents was Black. And his problem with immigration was that immigrants, apparently, in his perspective, are mainly coming to low income, mostly Black communities, and they are, for lack of a better term, fucking up the economy there. And that was a relatively new claim, so I did have to do some looking up there in the middle of the show, but what I found did not seem to support too much of it, but definitely interested to hear what Crow had to say.
Yeah. So how it works, this is where people don't even actually understand the immigration process. So if I'm an immigrant and I'm coming into the country, one of the things USIS actually does is because they recognize that like cultural homogeneity helps people acclimate better. So like, I'll use my own city. We all know I love talking about my Allentown. Nobody loves their city like I love my fucking city. On the other side of town, there's an area we call Little Syria. That's where a lot of Syrian immigrants live. The reason Little Syria exists is because as Syrian immigrants move to the area, they come through the immigration process. It's not uncommon for immigration services to go, hey, if you're looking for a place to live around your own folks, here's where they go. It's why you find like all these pocket communities. Like there's the largest population of Afghanis last time I checked is California. It's because as they came through, a lot of them settled in California, and then USIS said, hey, there's a lot of Afghanis living here if you want to stay in touch with your roots. That's why we wind up with these pocket communities. Right. Add into the fact, and then this is compounded into, it's very hard for a lot of them to get work, language barriers, cultural barriers, the timeline it takes for them to get those working papers. Of course, they're going to live then in lower income areas because they themselves are lower income.
It kind of comes to like the broader argument that I use when people talk about like mistreatment of people who have like poor labor conditions because they're an illegal immigrant or something like that. And it's just like, hey, it's not surprising that the illegal immigrants exist in a tranche of society that is disadvantaged. So yes, they are rubbing elbows with other disadvantaged people. The reason it's a disingenuous argument and the reason it's a shitty one is because if we look at the two people, me versus the person making that argument, they want that person's worst nightmare to come true. They want them to be abducted from their home and shipped back to a country that they don't want to go to, perhaps to a country they've never been to before, or a country that they haven't been to since they were a little kid. And I don't want there to be bad labor conditions in their communities and in their local community. I actually just want labor conditions to be better for everybody so that isn't as much of a problem. So when we compare what do you want versus what I want for these people, whether we're talking about the illegal immigrants or the people who work at the same jobs as them, it's like, I want things to be better for those people, and the person I'm talking to doesn't.
Yeah, the point I was trying to drive home was that,
don't bring me that shit, basically.
Right. I mean, like, other poor people are not your enemy. You know, if you're struggling and your neighbor's struggling, you guys shouldn't be mad at each other. You should be mad at the system making you both struggle. You know, we can absolutely build a structure that benefits both. And I looked into it. The numbers don't hold up. The cities that have the highest amount of immigration actually have the lowest amount of minority unemployment. So the numbers don't even line up for it when you look into it.
Well, and so the other point is, even if I were to entertain that, like if I was in that debate, if I were to entertain that point, I would point out that they're looking at the wrong end of it. So why are Black communities throughout the country lower income to begin with? The redlining, racism,
right,
opportunity cost, all that kind of things. Now, where would somebody that is naturally moving into the country that is also low income move to a low income area? So the area is not in a bad state because of the migrants. It's in a bad state because of the things that came before it, like redlining, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Yeah, and that is a hard one. That one is one that like was kind of a stumper for me because people said like, oh, illegal immigrants are taking jobs from the black community, and I was like, all right, that's an empirical claim, and you can find the correlations like you just said, but it is one of the more nuanced issues about it, where it's like, well, yes, I guess it is actually in some way obvious that illegal immigrants are going to be competing with people who are themselves disadvantaged, which we could say is bad until we zoom out and be like, hey, billionaires, how about you just pay us all better? Like
exactly.
Like
yeah,
maybe we shouldn't make life so miserable for 4 people, so this whole issue will just fucking go away. Isn't that what we want at the end of the day?
It's why, if there's one book, chat, if you buy one book, one political theory book that I want everybody to read, I recommend this on every live. It's by Stanley Cohen. It was written in the 70s. It's called Folk Devils and Moral Panics. Stanley Cohen wrote this back right now. It goes over how the people in power are incentivized to, rather than solve an issue, to give the public an easily digestible target. Just make it up whole cloth. Migrants, trans folks, black folks, video games in the 80s. It's the concept is a folk devil, something that's not actually the cause of a problem that they can get people to accept as the cause of a problem so they don't actually have to fix the problem.
Sounds like a very particular angle on scapegoating, which is kind of the broad thing that's going on here, is that the billionaires are responsible for the terrible things that are plaguing everybody in the economy, almost everybody, most people. And they say it's the illegal immigrant. They say it's these people. They say it's, but anyway, oldest trick in the fashion playbook. Blame somebody who doesn't have the capacity to defend themselves, so that you don't have to get in trouble for the things that you're doing to the masses. And that's what we're seeing the billionaires and the politicians they've bought do. And these fucking fools fall for it. Like, it's such an obvious trick. It's like, really? You think that these fucking farm laborers in Texas are the reason that your life is shitty? Like, but the minimum wage is $7.25?
Yeah, or like how, 500 migrant workers get busted at a factory and they all get deported and have their worst nightmare come true. And then the factory owner gets like a $5,000 fine. And the amount of money they save by underpaying these migrants it far exceeds that. It's a slap on the wrist. It does nothing.
Absolutely. I'm going to move on and try to get some calls, but I will say to everybody, because the viewership has certainly turned over, get to following both TheCrowletariate and LittleSalPal. LittleSalPal's new, and I want the people who are following him after today's stream to see that red ring this week and go show him some love. Go, tap on the screen, send a heart me, that sort of thing that tells the algorithm that people are excited about this new guy. He's up here because he's just somebody that when I look at like the fact that I'm no exception in this trend that there often is in social media, where like on Instagram, which is like my main platform, it took me like 2 months to get 1,000 followers, and then it took me like 2 more months to get 10,000 followers, and then it took me like 2 more months to get 100,000 followers, and that was very recently. Now I have 120,000 followers. So I'm gonna do what I can to delete those first couple of months for you, Sal. Because now you got 361.
I can't tell you how much that means to me. That means a lot, and to everyone in the chat as well. Like, this is an awesome community that you've built, Oscar.
Yeah, people like Diava Talks gave me a very, really similar push when my account was your size. So we gotta lift each other up in this thing. When I see somebody who I think is going to be a good communicator in this thing, I want to help out in the way that I can. And I honestly just feel fucking honored by my own community that I get to be the person doing that for somebody, because I couldn't have imagined back in January or February that this summer I'd be giving people a little boost up. Let's see if we can. 369. We can break 400. There's 31 of you who are sitting here being like, yeah. Plenty of other people are going to follow him. But like, no, go get off the couch, go over to your phone that's connected to your Bluetooth speaker because you were listening to this out loud in your apartment, and just go pick the thing up and click the fucking thing and just follow him really quick. So we can move on with the show. 75, 25 more of you. Come on. See, now you guys are learning how hard I could grift for myself if I really wanted to be that type of streamer. I'm willing to do it for somebody else though.
Let the sultry tones of my radio voice lead you to the follow button.
There we go. There we go.
Well, while I have this moment, can I shout out a project I've been working on?
Sure.
You've all heard me once or twice or passively talk about how I sell records. Part of what I do with that is the first weekend of every month, and I'm saying it now because in 2 weeks it's the first weekend of the next month. I run a thing over at my shop on Whatnot called Buy Records Help People, where I target something that needs help in Allentown. And 50% of all profits for the show that entire weekend go to helping that. Last month, we got backpack, school supplies, toiletries, etc. for the kids because it lets me skip all the middlemen. I don't deal with nonprofits. I don't deal with boards. I just find somebody that needs rent, a teacher trying to build a school supply cabinet, whatever, something I can directly assist with, and half of the profits for the show just go straight to that. Like, I just once the check clears, once you get your records and I got the money, we just go to Costco, we go to Staples, we go to whatever we need to do, and we just make shit happen.
Excellent.
That sounds like an awesome program.
Support the friends of the show. We got LittleSalPal, his 400 followers, so I'm going to move on with the show. But I'll have him up periodically. I'm going to keep pushing him. I want to see that.
I won't be live today, but I will be live later this week, everyone, for people asking. Monday through Friday this week.
We'll see 4 digits on your follower count at the end of the week, I'm sure. I'll see what I can do about it. But here, you can leave for the algorithm. I won't kick you for my algorithm. You leave for yours.
Sounds good, man. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a good one, Sal. And Crow, same to you. I'll let you kick yourself for your algorithm, and I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure. Maybe later today if I need help with something. Goodbye. All right. Seriously, I just, I don't. A lot of people ask me for promotional help, and I just don't fucking do it unless my gut tells me I fucking should, because I think somebody's going to be good at it. And I just listened to that guy for like a half hour yesterday, and I was like, yep, front of the line for him. He's working hard. He's going to do the right things. I cannot wait to watch. We're going to talk to Aisha, and we're going to see if this is a debate. I hope so. I know I wouldn't blame somebody for being in the queue as a friendly, because we were kind of having a mid-show friendly time there. Oh, and the mod's telling me to plug the gift gallery. What are we even doing for gifts? I don't know how any of this works. Game arena thing? I don't know. Boxing gloves? That's what we want. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's 7 of those, and we need 20 of them, according to the mods. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the gifts. I don't think Aisha meant to join the stream. That's okay. She was probably just double tapping away on the screen. Thank you, Izamak, for the $2. Bro, I'm literally mowing my lawn. That was wild. That's the fun thing with having 1,000 people watching, is you can say something hyper specific like that, and there'll be somebody who's like, what? Like, hey, Greg, I'm talking to you. Greg. Yeah. I know you're listening. Hope you have a wonderful day, Greg. Oh yeah, and Sal, who I'm sure is still listening, message from Midwest Progressive, one of my old school mods from the very beginning. Get yourself some mods. You're gonna need them. And also, there's plenty of my mods listening. People who mod this show can maybe go give you a little bit of help. Definitely, you'll get flags for like bullying and stuff, and you won't know why, and it'll just be because your chat was out of control. So your account can get a flag for your chat misbehaving if you don't have mods. Keeping it reasonably under control. So definitely find some trustworthy mods. But you're good enough at debating that there's going to be people who just want to be your mod. So just keep an eye on it. Make sure that they're behaving themselves. Michael, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. My father teaches in Chicago. The stories he has told me of what goes on with violence and lack of education is so tragic most people wouldn't believe. He's put up his own money to provide food for these kids. I see how you're defending these kids. Thank you. I'm trying, it's so shitty that there's people like David who are going to come on here and like fucking shit on me for being a substitute teacher when they just like don't like understand the school system or have any fucking respect for it at all. Like, yeah, I worked, like I hadn't been a teacher for a few years because I like just hadn't been a teacher since COVID. I had a different job after COVID. I was a teacher when COVID started for a startup. I taught kids programming, and the startup went out of business because of COVID. And that was like my last teaching job before this last year, when I just got a teaching job at a high school. And yeah, I was a substitute for a year, and they offered me a full-time job. So like, if David's going to sit here, like, he's just doing the thing where he's going to discredit me regardless of the fact that doesn't add up to any discrediting information. Like, that's a pretty normal path for a teacher to have towards, occupying a more serious role at the school. Also, there is just a kind of a broad spectrum of whether or not subs are good or not. So like, some subs just show up and like, take attendance and fill the room. But I worked really hard to be a good sub, and that's why I got a lot of the teachers wanted me to cover their classes, because I would actually teach them. I would actually teach their curriculum. But I mean, David's just going to come up here and bitch and moan, because that's what he exists to do, is to bitch and moan about stuff that he doesn't understand or care about, because he likes hurting people's feelings, which is fucked up. It's reprehensible that so many people are just enthused. All right, we're going to talk to Leopold Collectibles. Wonder what he collects.
Hey,
Hello.
Oscar.
How you doing? Friend or foe?
I'm a friend. I want to say I love you, and I'm curious about how close you are to getting a phone number so I can have my mom call you. Because she's
it might get worked on today, actually. There's a chance it'll be tomorrow. Because after I record today, I have some time with my producer Jessie, and because just yesterday was the first day that we shot in this new room, we're going to set up the other computer to manage phone calls and get them passed to one of the pile of phones that I use to manage the show, and hopefully get that working. Because I am actually really excited about people just giving the phone number to, like you said, like people in your life. You said you want your mom to call in.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many people where they're like, I have a MAGA family member who just like doesn't internet.
They're not on TikTok, right?
Not on
Like,
TikTok in some way. Yeah. So I'm really excited for the nature of the phone calls to change.
That should be good.
Yeah. So that I know I've been like I started like announcing that I was going to do that like 2 months ago, so it's been way too fucking long. I was hoping to get it set up before we made the started taking steps to move into this new studio, but there was a delay in me getting the phone I needed for it, and then because that week where I had time to troubleshoot that and like add it to the workflow and get it set up, that week passed without me getting the phone, and then I got the phone the like day we started boxing things up and moving to get put into a new space. So it's just hasn't been on the radar, but now we're settled in here and the show is functioning nicely. So that's the plan, is to
very cool.
I'm going to do work on it today. So if that work goes well, it could be working tomorrow, which would be very, very exciting. Because I've been complaining about lack of meaningful calls, and I think that like I don't know, like I could even see myself buying an ad in a fucking newspaper in some red town, or like oddball ways of getting people to call in who aren't paying attention to this discourse space. Because I to give you the long answer, like the thing that's exciting about the phone number is that there is just this thing where it's like there's this big divide in the way that things go with these calls on TikTok, where anybody who's been on TikTok in the debate scene, paying attention to me or Dean Withers or anybody like that for like a few weeks, is going to be set in their ways on it. They're either going to have been convinced that Donald Trump is a rapist and that he shouldn't be president, or that's not going to work on them, which means they either don't care that the president's a rapist, or they're just like actually a white supremacist monster. There just aren't that many like actually Kool-Aid drinking Fox News watchers who just haven't really had a conversation with somebody reasonable about this ever. And I hope to start finding some of those people with the phone number.
Great. That's what I'm excited for, because I really like the way you engage with people, and I find it really hard for myself to talk to my mom, because I get really frustrated because she's way into the conspiracy theories. She thinks the vaccine was turning people into robots, like androids. I believe she said the moon has been stolen. Like there's underground cities, lizard people, all the stuff.
Yeah, just like the actual fucking nonsense. Like the people who tell me that like there's videos of Hillary Clinton like cutting people's faces off and shit like that.
Yes,
exactly.
Just like, yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. No, you're right. Yeah, all the QAnon, all that.
Yeah, absolutely fucking. I'm excited. I feel like it's going to really change the flavor of the show, and I've been thinking about. Maybe people can let me know like what they think are good ideas, because like I have been thinking about advertising it. Like I said, like get like some non-TikTok way to advertise this number, because like obviously there's a lot of people who watch on YouTube who want to call in but can't, so they're excited for the phone number. But I just want people who aren't involved in the debate space fucking at all. Where it's like, hey, if you support Trump, please call this number between these hours, and ideally we'll be able to set up some sort of. I'm willing to pay for a reasonably like. It's valuable enough a project to me that I'd be willing to pay a few $100 a month for like a call screening software that like manages a queue of callers in the same way. I want to see
a Oscar billboard.
Oh gosh. Oh man. Fucking Oscar bill. No, because it's got to be like. I mean, billboards are. Further, I don't know how effective advertising a phone number on a billboard is. Because people.
I see Christians doing it up here.
Yeah.
I'm in Michigan.
Facts over feelings in the chat. I did see your Discord message. I haven't responded to it. You probably are going to be in charge of building the website. But that might also get worked on today, because we're trying to churn through the to-do list of all the supervisory stuff we need to do today. But yeah, it's I bet, yeah, like newspaper ads or like we could. I mean, somebody in the chat said bumper stickers, and that's like honestly a fucking good idea. Where it's like we could sell bumper stickers that are time zoned. Where
it wouldn't be too expensive.
Right, because we could just sell, what are there, 4 time zones? Is that right? Yeah, we could just sell 4 different ones that list the time, 10 to 2, for the different time zones so that you can order the one for your time zone and put it on your car and say, if you support Trump, call this number. And then we would just get fucking random calls from the gas station in whatever town a viewer of mine lives in where they wanted to put a bumper sticker on their car. Anyway, so I appreciate the question. I'm actually is on my to-do list to work on that today finally, because we just finally got settled in the new studio. I saw somebody in the queue, but they left. They're gone. I'm gonna kick you anyway to open the queue so people don't think it's friendly time. I'll give you a follow. I'll check out your stuff. I see you've got a busy account.
Have a good stream, man.
Sure thing. The phone number's fucking exciting. It's very, I feel very silly with the number of phones that I have running the show, because it's 3. There's 3 iPhones on the desk in front of me. Normally 2 of them are over there on the producer's desk, but Jessie's not here at the moment. And one of them is just so shitty a phone that I can't trust it. Like, it actually is not even capable of what I need it to do, because it doesn't have a USB port. It has a lightning bolt port, which the hardware I'm using is USB-C. And I didn't want to have to fix this phone, or it's on its last leg. So all it does is just sit in the corner as the backup account. And then this other phone that is doing the second backup account will start being the phone that the calls are passed through. I'm not going to pass the calls through my actual backup account that you're seeing over here on TikTok. We're going to have a different burner account. The whole purpose of that is so that if a phone caller says the N-word, it doesn't ban an important account. So there's 2 phones for that, and then there's like my actual phone that I manage the donations and stuff. It's a mess. It's fucking there's a lot to it. Like once you get to like 1,000 viewers concurrent, like it starts getting out of fucking hand. Oh, Chris Lindell style billboard, call my show. That's I think a local joke. But that's okay. I'll tell the odd local joke for the Minnesota friends or the Midwest friends. I don't know how big Chris Lindell is. But yeah, I mean, fucking, we got to get that phone number working. I'm sitting here without callers. We got 1,000 people watching. We had some people who were big mad in the chat. David saying, unfortunately, I'll want to pay for Google and Meta for ads. Yeah, Facebook ads actually would probably, if I'm going to pick a platform, fucking Popcorn, get out of my queue, dude. Like, we spent some time at the beginning of the show today talking about it. But if you, and I don't want to ban his account because I want him to be able to watch and hear what I have to say about him. But like, Popcorn, if you're not willing to accept that the picture of the chats with Dean Withers were AI generated, I know you're not that stupid. Then what, like, that proves to me that there's not, you've always been a disingenuous piece of shit, Popcorn. But you showed me yesterday that there's not a grain of honesty in your approach to these conversations. The amount of hair pulling I've done with you to talk about E. Jean Carroll and the fact that you believe this bullshit about Dean Withers, hook, line, and sinker. You allegedly believe this bullshit because I'm accusing you of being disingenuous. You don't fucking believe it. You don't fucking think that screenshot is real. You're not that fucking stupid, dude. You just don't care about the truth. You don't care about what's right. You don't care about the fact that victims of sexual abuse are harmed by these sorts of hoaxes. You don't give a shit at all. And I'm just not fucking... I mean, chat can let me know if they want to hear Popcorn's fucking 2 cents on it before, but I'm just never going to talk to you about fucking anything ever again after this. There's no fucking point. You have changed categories. You were pretty close to the edge in terms of just being like a disingenuous, monstrous piece of fucking, like, waste of time where your whole purpose is to clog up the show and be difficult. But, like, you crossed the line yesterday, dude. There's no point in fucking talking to you. You could have, Popcorn, could have done so much more for your presence on my show. You could have gotten hours and hours and hours to try to convince me of this bullshit and do your fucking nonsense on my show if you had just said, oh, that was some bullshit that happened with Dean Withers. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to believe that. But instead, you showed that you don't give a fuck about what is true. So no, we'll talk to psycrowbob, who I'm still a little suspicious about psycrowbob. I'm pretty sure that there's a different user that you are under, and you use a fake accent with one of them. But I don't know. I don't have you dead to rights on that. What do we? How old are you again, psycrowbob?
Yeah, I'm 46.
Yeah. What are we talking about today?
Well, if it helps alleviate any disingenuous, I also think it's bullshit what happened to Dean.
Well, aren't you a fan of AI?
Yes, obviously any tool that is used for nefarious purposes is not.
Well, I'm just saying.
Fault.
I'm just saying that if you're a fan of AI, you probably possess the expertise necessary to look at those screenshots and be like, "Oh, this is bullshit. Clearly, an AI screenshot."
Yes, that's why I'm saying the false accusations against Dean are bullshit. Yes.
I'm glad that we have that common ground. I think that that's good. Like, that's kind of an interesting litmus test. Like I said, like we're learning which callers are just like truly perpetually dishonest. So I guess I appreciate you saying that, but the bar's in hell. You know, it's a pretty low bar to not fall for that type of shit. So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, let's see. I don't like the DSA's proposals to take over the means of production.
Okay. I don't think I do either.
I think it would devalue the dollar to such an extent that it would collapse our economy.
Okay, so if you say that, you're missing the fucking point of what they're suggesting, because they're talking about a world where the dollar becomes less meaningful to individuals. Like the fact that we all slave for the dollar to make ends meet. The fact that I don't get to run my show in the way that I would prefer to run my show if money wasn't an object. Is because of the value of the dollar. So when they propose a solution to some of these social problems that involves replacing much of what's necessary in life by government programs, in that concept, I can at least accept that if you think that the dollar going down in value is going to matter to you in that world, you're just not understanding what they want. I disagree with them about their approach to accomplishing some of those end goals of just, you know, having life be better for people and having the government do like more social programs for people, like that sort of thing. We don't align completely there, but I recognize that if we did successfully replace the grocery store with a state program, if we did successfully replace the housing market with a public option that's good enough for anybody to like have a perfectly happy life, who the fuck cares if the dollar is less valuable in that world?
Yes, and that's why I always point to...
That was a question. Like, who cares if the dollar's less valuable if food is free?
I do care, yeah. So I do care in the sense that all sounds well and good. If we were an isolated bubble, then we could keep ourselves self-contained and perpetuating economy, but we're not. We import something like $3 trillion worth of goods from foreign countries. So the value of the dollar is essential for sustaining our economy. Now, if you want to talk about what I talk about, which it sounds like you're mentioning what I talk about, was a post-scarcity society where human labor is no longer necessary in the workforce because of post-scarcity. I agree with you.
A post-scarcity society is like way farther down the line. Like, that's the most extreme version of what I might be talking about. There's just a lot of steps along the way where I agree with you about the fact that if we have some sort of like approaching that post-scarcity society system where we do more for people in this country, that the devaluing of the dollar does matter on the global stage because the rest of the world isn't also going to participate in that way. I just also don't believe that the global market is going to leave us behind in that way. So when I see that the dollar is going to be devalued, the question then becomes by how much? Like, we're not talking, it's not going to become worth 10% of what it was worth. That would cripple us on the global stage. If it became 80% as valuable as it currently is, that would be negative for our participation in the global market. But I would say that the devaluing of our currency to that degree, if we have basic needs covered for most of the people in the bottom half of society in America, I'd call that a fair trade. So we can't speak in absolute terms about like, oh, don't want to do that because the dollar will be devalued. I need to know how much and how that will actually affect global trade. And at the end of the day, it's a sliding scale in the world that I want. I want to keep deciding what to do next in terms of making America more like that. More things should be done by the government for people for free at the expense of the taxpayer on average. And I'm just like, I don't think that if we made education free, like if we made community colleges free, I don't think that would collapse the dollar. I think that if we like had a cheap housing program where the government built apartments and then like, I don't know, gave 12 months of residency in them to anybody who like is in the bottom 10% of society, like something like that would be expensive to do. I don't see any of those individual next steps collapsing the value of the dollar to the point where like China doesn't want to do trade with us.
Well, those individual items might not, but if we take away the entire structure and our prioritization of, private ownership of business, private ownership of property, if we kind of erode that foundational pillar of our society, that is what would cause capital flight from the globe and pulling out of utilizing the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency. So that's the kind of things that the DSA is actively pushing for. So and the DSA is actively taking over the Democrat Party. That's why I can't go for Democrat Party. I mean, say what you will about Trump, but he's not the Democrat.
Would you say that if we drew a circle around the 10% like most extreme Democrats, the farthest left Democrats, that it would include the people you're concerned about?
I would say that currently the DSA
of
is
all
still,
the Democrats that are currently running, elected, work at the DNC, work at the DSA, of all the Democrats who are politically involved, if we drew a circle around the 10% of them that are the most extreme, according to you, the most extreme of them, do you think it would include all of those people?
I must be missing your question here. Are you saying how much percentage of the Democrat Party is being taken over by the DSA currently?
Yeah, okay, if we were to just take senators and members of the House of Representatives, which for Democrats, that would be something like 280 people, something like that. Like 10% of them is 28 people. If we took the most liberal, the most progressive, the most left-wing, the most extreme of those 10%, that those 28 people, do you think it would probably include all of the DSA candidates and people who support that sort of thing?
I think it would probably consist of a lot of them. In addition to, I think that there are a lot of hidden DSA members.
This isn't a trap. I'm just trying to understand, like, you say that the DSA is taking over the Democratic Party and they're like really extreme. Yes. So I'm saying that, do you think that it's fair to say that these extreme candidates who are really pushing like away from the liberal Democrat, the more establishment Democrat, do you think that like it's like 10% would cover the most extreme of them?
I think that there's a lot of mainstream Democrats that are hiding their DSA affiliation. I think it might be more than 10%.
Okay, because what I was about to say, the reason I've been trying to get you to answer this very fucking basic question is because I would then compare that 10% to the 10% most extreme on the right and ask which is a more reprehensible group of people who represent a bigger danger to society. And I guess I'll add on the aside that I think that there's lots of people in the other 90% of the Republicans who also support what those 10% are doing but aren't as vocal about it.
I don't think that there's a significant portion of the Republican Party. Well, let me backtrack here.
I want you to compare the most extreme 10% from the right to the most extreme 10% from the left and tell me which is a bigger problem for America.
Yeah, I don't think that like white supremacists are right wing. See, I don't. And
the 90% on the left would tell you that these left-wing people who want a societal collapse or want us to overthrow the government or want us to have a constitutional condition, they'll tell you that they don't represent what they believe either. Just like
I agree, and that's why I'm making the distinction.
So instead of telling me how much you think the 10% on the left is encroaching the 90% on the left, and then defending the 10% for being so different than the 90% on the right, I just want you to answer the question that I asked you very directly. Which of those two groups of people, the 10% most extreme Republicans or the 10% most extreme left-wing progressives, are a bigger problem for society, are more dangerous, have more problematic beliefs?
I'd have to think about it, not because I think that anything on the people you're describing of right people are doing anything other than abhorrent behavior, because I do think that.
How did you get to white people?
I didn't say white people. I said the people that you're describing as "quote unquote" right wing extremists. I'm not I have to think about which one would be worse, not because I have any kind of affiliation or affection for what you are calling right-wing extremists, but because I don't think that the right-wing extremists have as potent ability to take over a political party, take over a political movement, and effectuate their desires as much as the left wing. So even if I was to say that the right
fucking
wing
nonsense, dude. What are you talking about? That's crazy.
Even if I
That's
was
crazy.
to say,
No, dude. The 10% most extreme on the right have convinced the rest that they don't have to follow the fucking Constitution. What are you talking about?
Who on the right are you talking about then? If the 10% don't have to follow the
everybody
Constitution?
doesn't follow the Constitution on the right. If we're going to talk about that group, I limited it because you were like really stuck on this like nebulous 10%, which is a little bit fair. I said, all right, let's just talk about the senators in the House of Representatives. We have a litmus test on whether or not the Republican senators and members of the House of Representatives believe in the Constitution and how they vote on things when it comes to Trump breaking the fucking Constitution. So the impeachment trials that happened a few years ago are a little outdated now. Not everybody who is serving then is still serving as a senator, though many of them are, because we don't have as strict term limits as we should, or really any term limits on a fucking senator. But yeah, we can look at them voting directly for unconstitutional behavior, saying, yes, it's okay. I'm just going to say that wasn't a high crime and misdemeanor, even though it fucking obviously was. I'm going to defend this man who does these things that are so constantly and flagrantly against the Constitution. We don't have any problems like that on the left.
Well, I would disagree. I think that abortion is against the 14th Amendment. It does say that you shouldn't you grant life threat.
So the Constitution talks about persons, and citizens are an elevated class of person. And the issue with abortion for somebody like me is that I do not consider a unborn human in the first trimester of their gestation period to be a person. I don't ascribe them personhood. I don't give them the rights of personhood.
Yes, but I do.
Yeah, and you and I can disagree with that. Does the Constitution specify when a person is granted personhood?
Nope.
Okay, so that's your opinion and my opinion, and maybe we need to have the Supreme Court rule on what a person is, and I think that would be good to do, and I think that it would make sense to give a person personhood when they have sentience, when they have phenomenology, when they have consciousness, when they're capable of suffering. That happens round about 20 or 24 weeks at the very earliest. I actually suspect it to be much later, but it's kind of a blurry line and we can't quite tell when enough of the lights have flickered on neurologically for a person to have those things. So I just go as early as I possibly can with it and say that it's 20 to 24 weeks because it's definitely not earlier than that. So I don't think
I would say we should do something more akin to Germany, where we make it after 12 weeks illegal for elective abortions.
So I think we should stay on topic, and I think that we've successfully covered the fact that the Constitution doesn't specify whether or not abortion defies a person their right to bodily autonomy, because it doesn't specify if unborn people are in fact persons. I think that that's up in the air, and that needs to be discussed. And you and I disagree with it about it, and that's fine. But we're talking about. But in the cases of our elected officials not voting to impeach Trump, in stark defiance to what it says in the Constitution, or in stark defiance of any obvious interpretation of what a high crime or misdemeanor for a president is, like that stuff is written. That stuff is in the law. We don't need. There is no question of, like, in this case, what a person is.
But the Constitution doesn't say that if a president tells people to go peacefully protest or peacefully make their voices heard, that they have to be impeached for treason. The Constitution doesn't specify that.
You can zoom in on any particular thing that Trump did and find a detail about it that isn't mentioned in the Constitution, but I don't accept that one particular Hail Mary that you just threw at me about exactly the words that Donald Trump used when he was standing at the lectern in D.C. on January 6th. I don't think that discredits my concern that he's violating the Constitution. Not
well,
one bit.
You could aggregate any other piece of countervailing information. You could say, well, his rhetoric around the election, that clearly constitutes.
He attempted to overthrow in 2020, his words to that crowd is not even the most obvious way in which he tried to subvert democracy in that case. He sent slates of FAKE, can't say it because of TikTok TOS, electors to falsely certify the wrong person for president. He attempted to overthrow democracy in this country. If that's not obviously a high crime and misdemeanor, if that's not obviously unconstitutional, whoever's telling me that they think that that's not unconstitutional or not a high crime or misdemeanor is a fucking traitor to this country who I don't want serving, and that's almost all the Republicans.
Well, unless he believed that the election had been stolen, right?
Do you believe that the election was stolen?
It's not about whether I believe it, it's whether he believes it.
No, you just said that it is. You just said that I'm wrong if it's true that they stole the election. So do you believe that they stole the election?
I don't believe that they stole the election, but in order to claim,
then we can put that aside. Yeah,
but in order to claim that Trump committed high crimes or treason, you would have to demonstrate that he did not believe that he was trying to save a stolen election.
Yeah, when he called and asked, and he said that we need to find 11,000 more votes in Georgia. Do you think that he was making sure that they counted it correctly, or do you think that that's an obvious demonstration that he was looking for more votes for himself, regardless of what the actual will of the people was?
Did he say to fabricate them?
Explain to me why it makes sense for him to say that I need you to find these votes for me if he's interested in anything other than making sure that he wins the election irrespective of what the will of the people is. Make the behavior make sense to me.
Well, he'd been seeing a lot of people moving boxes in the middle of the night.
You move right past the fact that he installed...
had stolen boxes.
He installed fake electors. Why are you moving past that? Why would he have done that?
If he thought that
even if he was right about the election being stolen, is that a legal and constitutional way to address that problem, to steal it back?
Well, he would be doing what he thought was an emergency.
Yes or no? Is that a legal and constitutional way to address that problem?
It's debatable.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It would be like how Abraham Lincoln broke the Constitution to do what was right.
Why did he lose 60 court cases about it if it was legal?
Because they didn't have what the court wanted to see it.
See, do you see? A lot of those judges were appointed by Trump himself. Do you see the lengths that you're going through to make it seem like it's okay? You're just plugging your ears and closing your eyes and saying, oh, no, Trump might be such a bumbling fool that he thought he won the election even though he obviously didn't. He tripped and fell over and signed the order doing this. He was sleepwalking when he called and sent the fake electors to do that. He didn't mean to find 11,000 votes. No, dude, it's nonsense. I don't believe you. I don't believe that you think that he's innocent in this case. I don't believe it for 1 second.
I think that his ego did not allow him, regardless of the evidence, to actually believe that he lost. I think he truly felt.
Does that make it excusable?
That he won. Well, if he truly thought that the election was being stolen, then our Constitution had essentially crumbled underneath our feet, and he was doing what he could do.
No, you're excusing his behavior due to incompetence. Which does incompetence excuse you from the law?
As the president acting
yes
as
or
official
no?
duties.
Yes or no? Does incompetence excuse you from the law?
The president, yes.
You think that the president is able to break the law because of their incompetence, and that's okay?
Well, it's covered under immunity because he was acting in his official capacity.
Right, the immunity.
So it does exclude him.
Yes. There's a legal win for Trump that they've changed this law about the president having immunity for illegal actions taken as president. And you don't see the problem it is for the power structure in this country that Donald Trump influenced that change happening and then used it to excuse himself from the bad things that he's done.
I think
you're okay with the president being so incompetent that he benefits from that sort of change that he helped create.
Well, I think it's something that all presidents have enjoyed as a privilege of being the president. They just never had codified what they were doing. Plenty of presidents have done, quote unquote, illegal treasonous things.
Why did we bother going through any of these questions if you were just going to pull immunity at the end? Do you not believe that an impeachment is possible because the president is allowed to do whatever he wants? Why did we bother talking about whether or not the actual things he did were illegal if when you got cornered enough to recognize that they were illegal, you said it's just okay for the president to do illegal things because he has immunity for things he does as president?
Only if it's acting within his official capacity.
Does the president have the official authority to send fake electors that aren't the correct ones to lie about who won the presidential election?
Well, if the Constitution has been destroyed through a stolen election, then yes.
But you agree that it's not reasonable to think that the election was stolen, that he was delusional in thinking that.
Yes, I think that he was not following the evidence properly.
And you are defending him anyway.
Well, I'm not defending his particular actions in that state. I just would never qualify that as being treasonous.
I just don't fucking believe you. I don't believe that you believe with your heart what you're telling me. I think you come onto these lives and just try to waste people like mine's time. I think I'm gonna ban you from the show, dude.
Because I disagree. I think that Trump has not engaged in treason.
No, because you can listen to what I just said to you and tell me that the reason is because you disagree. That's absurd. I don't think you're being honest. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me at all. Especially when you know that there's for every one of these conversations, we just talked for 5 minutes about some particular thing that Trump did that was illegal that should have had him impeached. We could have had that conversation 50 different ways. Hours of conversation that would all end with you just saying that he acted in his official capacity. It's fine that he did that. That was illegal. You got me. It was illegal, but I don't care because it was acting in his official capacity. It doesn't appear to me that there's anything Donald Trump could do that would result in you thinking he shouldn't be president anymore, or thinking his presidency is illegitimate, or thinking that the Republicans who refuse to impeach him for doing it are themselves traitors. It doesn't matter to you.
If he committed a crime outside of his official capacity as president, then yes, obviously.
He raped Jean Carroll.
Well, you know how I feel about that.
And he is a 34-time convicted felon.
You know how I feel about that too.
Right. You can just feel some different way about those obvious counterexamples to what you just said you would need to turn on him. He could shoot a baby in the face with a handgun on your front lawn, and you'd defend him somehow. You'd tell me the baby was Antifa.
I wouldn't.
Yes, you fucking would.
I just don't think that the Eugene Carroll thing happened, and I think the 34 felonies are spurious, nonsense charges.
And I'm not interested in relitigating them with you. You just don't give a fuck, dude.
No, if he did something that was outside of his official capacity, that was a legitimate crime,
he raped a woman. Judges have ruled that I'm allowed to call him a rapist because the courts found that he raped a woman, and you don't care about that. And you don't care about that because of a legal...
I don't think it happened.
You don't care about the crimes he's committed because of a legal loophole. You aren't at all ethically, morally concerned about such a reprehensible character running the country. So even if we step back from this thing about how he should be impeached, I am telling you that you don't care at all.
My position is that a morally ambiguous or morally reprehensible person who is going...
I disconnected you because I went to go check if your camera could be turned on, and it can't. So if you want to come back on my show some other time, psycrowbob, you can come on and put your camera up and you and I can talk face to face, but I think you're a troll. I don't think you're a serious person at all. I don't think so. Psycrowbob, please come back up and turn on your camera. You are welcome on my show anytime. If you are willing to do that, I'd like to continue the conversation with you after you do that. Not interested in doing that until then. Armando, thank you for the $12. You have my wholehearted support over on Venmo. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Armando went to the link tree in the bio and found the Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, which are the ways to support the show, support me, support Jessie, who found her way to the producer's desk.
Yo.
Hello, Jessie. Here, can you do that again? Are you muted on that mic?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm just quiet.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, let's see. Is he still bitching in the chat? Yeah, Oscar always runs away when he's losing. Psycrowbob. You think that you're going to successfully stall my entire career by wasting time on my show and declare the W if I hit the disconnect button because you're a fucking waste of time? Get back on the show with your face and prove to me you're fucking serious and you care about these things that you believe in. If you don't think that what you're saying isn't reprehensibly horrible, you can come up and show your face and talk about it. So if you want to think that I'm running, you can think that all you want, just like you think that Donald Trump's a good person. And we can all know that it's bullshit because you won't come up. Coward. Thank you, Tabby, for the $5 over on YouTube Super Chat. Racism, forced pregnancy, segregation, and institutionalizing neurodivergent and non-heterosexual individuals are not extreme, apparently. Yeah. Owl sent $5 to say, why can't we all just agree that medical and psychological professionals should be making calls about abortions and not your fifis? I agree. Liaga sent $10 to say, it doesn't matter what the reason is, the reason for the treason is. If he committed treason, he shouldn't be president. If he's too delusional to not commit treason, there's no reason to trust him as president. Yeah, but psycrowbob doesn't fucking care. It's and we're out of callers because there are no fucking serious Trump supporters left. Maybe Melinda is a Trump supporter. I kind of hope not. Hello, how old are you?
29. Hi, I'm a friendly. Is that okay?
If you've got a topic or a question, I'll give you 10 seconds to get it out, but I'm looking for a debate.
Last caller. Under his reasoning with the insanity type bullshit. Sorry if swearing. You
can curse, that's fine.
That means that on their side, where Biden was insane and shit like that, that would excuse Biden as well. The argument's absolute bullshit.
100% agree. If you're going to tell me that it's okay for Trump to commit treason because he was insane, but you're then going to tell me that Biden was incompetent because he was insane. Fucking what the fuck? I mean, it's just psycrowbob's not fucking serious. But I wish I could understand somebody like psycrowbob, but I just don't think he's honest when he's on the show. The things he says doesn't add up to a person that makes sense to me. I talk to a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people before I started running this show. I've taught a lot of people how to communicate, and I just don't think that psycrowbob makes sense as a person, which is why I think he's a character, and I kind of think it might be Septic Salad doing a voice. Jay sent $1 to say, that's a Proletariat. He sent $1 to say, tell Jessie I need her band to drop a 10-inch. They would do well here in the PA scene. Got a ton of heads who would be about it. Is Sensing Agony going to get pressed into vinyl, Jessie?
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah, 10-inch record. I'm pretty sure what he means.
No. Oh my God, we're violently poor right now.
Yeah, you complain about production expenses all the time, right?
Yeah, it's so expensive to be in a band. Our friend does our production, and still, hopefully merch soon for us. But yeah, no, we're poor. There will not be a vinyl.
Yeah. You can let psycrowbob keep yapping in the chat. It's good for an engagement thing. But I've tried to get him to turn his camera on before. He's been a faceless coward for months. There's no way he's going to do it. But let him flail. Let the coward flail. Just remind him that he's a coward. Just whenever you see psycrowbob in my chat, just hit reply and say, remember, you're a coward who won't come on Oscar's show, and put his camera on, which is fair because my camera's on. People know what I look like. Underworld. We're gonna see if his political beliefs are from the underworld. I hope not. How old are you?
I'm 25. I'm friendly. Just one quick thing real quick, and I'll make it 10 seconds before the sweets. One, it's funny how Republicans are not talking about the conflict in Iran anymore. And two, it's funny how they're not talking about the Epstein files anymore.
There's a lot of things that they're not talking about anymore. In fact, the things that they're not talking about anymore are pretty much everything except for trans rights and abortion, which is why the show has become not even my show. It's like this entire public debate sphere has just become fucking abortion and trans rights. They have successfully tricked us into wasting all of our time talking about wedge issues that don't affect the white men who are, the fucking problem right now in our government. Honestly, I think that psycrowbob was kind of gagged on me asking him to compare the 10% worst on the left to the 10% worst on the right, because I just don't think he'd heard that one before, because I made it up on the spot. Because I just don't, it's fucking indefensible. You got like literal Nazis that in the 10% worst on the right. You've got like Ku Klux Klan members. You've got people who Zeke Heil at public functions. And then on the left, like you have got some people who are like the most extreme of the leftists do want some violence, but they're trying to like feed people And the people that they want to be violent against are the people who like, well, it's like the people I just described, like the Klan members, the other bigots, like, yeah. Oh, psycrowbob's still in the chat, so just remind him that he ran away. Just hit reply and remind him, camera on, you can be on the show. Oscar wants to have you on the show with your camera on. Please come and tell us all your brilliant, totally not bullshit, disingenuous, fascistic points about the government with your camera on. But no, psycrowbob is a coward. Glad that I don't get banned for saying coward anymore. It took a while to wear the algorithm away on that one. Maybe they instituted a change. I don't know. I heard Dean saying the S word, the self-unaliving word, on his show quite a lot the other day, and I'm tempted. That's the thing. It's like especially as my account gets bigger, I know there's more and more I can get away with. So when I tell somebody that I need to kick them right away because they said something, I'm actually not 100% certain that it's going to be a problem, but it is a risk. So I have my own rules about reducing risk with the TOS system, but I don't actually know what the rules are. But psycrowbob's definitely a coward, and I've definitely gotten away with saying that enough. Yeah. Felix, thank you for the £2. Is that £2? Love what you do. Right wingers are really something. Yeah, they really are. They are fucking worth studying, if you ask me. But they just won't even fucking let us study them, which is a shame. Like, we just can't even have like a meaningful, actual, real conversation. I'll take a moment to do a little bit of a mid-roll, which is if you're watching on TikTok, get to following the backup accounts. They are down here. You should be following both of those. Those are the backup accounts that the show will be run from if I do catch a ban for saying something silly. Dean has AI assisted human moderation. I do too. I'm pretty sure I have to check what my thing is. I don't think I'm in A1. I think I'm in the B level, but I do get the very, very fast support that Dean talks about having sometimes when I have had account bans recently that have been taken care of, like lickety split. psycrowbob is lying in the chat about me not being able to keep up. Dude, you were gagged in that call. Like, it's fucking, like, you're just lying. You're just lying about what had just happened on the show. It's on YouTube, dude. Like, people can go watch right now and watch you struggle to come up with an answer to my questions in real time a few minutes ago. I'm Gerrymander America's here. Zane, Jessie, we're having a meeting later. We're going to get me a P.O. box so Zane can send me his book.
What's up, Oscar?
Doing all right. How you doing, Zane?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for letting me up. I just wanted to talk about this, like, official capacity point that people bring up.
Yeah.
What is that? Is there anything that is not official capacity for these people?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just gonna call anything that he did in an official capacity, especially like the 34 felonies that he was convicted of, because those weren't going to be expunged because of that rule change. And a lot of those had to do with things that he did on the campaign trail, which I can imagine a chud just saying, well, that has to do with his official capacity. No, I'm sorry. Running your campaign to be president is not part of your official duties of being the president. That's not going to work on me. That's probably not going to work on Zane. But it did work for a lot of the charges that he had regarding the 2020 election, because he was president at the time. So a lot of those charges just evaporated, just got thrown out, completely dismissed because of this rule change. But like, that's the situation that we're running into, is that, like, the right can imagine people from the left taking over the government and changing the rules in such a way that it's not fair and, like, really going against what America is about. But if I point out that is actively happening at the hands of Republicans, they'll be like, no, that's official capacity.
Right. And I want to bring in some historical perspective in here, because it's 50 years since Nixon, and Nixon famously went on an interview show, and he's like, if the president does it, it's not illegal. That's what he said. And he was already gone. He was already not president at that point, but there was huge outcry. But, you know, Vance said a couple of months ago, like, Watergate would be a 12-hour story, and he was unfortunately correct.
I remember that particular, like, news. Him saying that was just part of the fucking 24-hour news cycle. But when he said it, I was like, dude, I have been saying exactly that for months. I've had the paper signs say Trump has a scandal bigger than Watergate once a week or something like that. And it's just utterly remarkable that people don't see through it. But yeah, I mean, you know, I know we're both more reasonable about it. I appreciate the word edgewise, but I do think I have an oppositional caller I should grab.
Great. Good luck.
Talk to you soon, buddy. Trump Managa 2025. Hopefully a Trump supporter, probably a troll. We'll see. Hello, how old are you?
Nigger.
Yep. You can just hear that coming when we see that it's an account with 3 followers that has Trump in the name and no camera access. That's it, everybody. That's a Trump supporter. He had 1,000 people watching, and he wanted to tell everybody why he supports Trump, and it's just because he wants to be able to say the N-word. They're having fun practicing here on TikTok Live, but they can't wait until it's okay to just yell it on people on the street anymore, which it technically is in a lot of places because you can't really arrest somebody for that. But they're just excited that they get to take the masks off. There are still cowards like psycrowbob who won't take the mask off. I would say that when I compare ICE to the Gestapo, I would say that I compare somebody like psycrowbob to a Klansman because he refuses to take his hood off. He watches my show and he thinks that he can sit in the chair and have a meaningful conversation with me with that digital Klansman hood on. And if you get to saying Klansman type shit, if you have to start defending the fascist takeover of our country, I'm going to ask you to take that white hood of yours off. But no, he's gonna stay anonymous just like the Klansman. Cash put Themon? I don't know. Hopefully a good conversation. Let's have a real debate today. How old are you?
21.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No, nigger faggot.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's the same dude. I was already working on getting him kicked. I think the mods beat me to that one because I got the little user doesn't exist button when I click disconnect. But I would love to have a conversation with a person like that. Just tell me what it's about, dude. Tell me how it feels to be a person who spends their time doing that. I don't understand it. I don't know what it must be. It looks miserable. These people never seem to be very happy. So I wish we could do more of a on-air biopsy on those sorts of people, but
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't dissect those trolls like you do the other ones because if you don't kick them right away, then TikTok's TOS is on. So. Right,
and hey, I mean, maybe when we get the phone number set up, which I think maybe we should do some work on that today, see if we can get your laptop working with one of these iPhones. We might experiment with doing a YouTube only version of the show or a YouTube and Twitch version of the show in addition to the TikTok and YouTube version of the show because the TikTok censorship really does hurt certain topics. There's certain things I want to discuss that I just as topics can't even discuss. Voluntary euthanasia for adults is a topic that had me bring a guest from this show onto the evening show on YouTube only, just because there's no way to talk about that safely behind TikTok moderation. Proletariat sent a buck to say, P.S. I'm stubborn, so I found the video Raven did and shared her post of sensing Agony's video to the store Facebook so my heads could still discover them. Hell yeah, dude.
Oh.
Yes. Proletariat's out doing advertising work for you, Jessie.
Fucking thank you, man.
You got to get that mic closer to your mouth.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm unsurprisingly losing my voice.
Yeah. No, you don't sound so torn up as sometimes you do after a show. You must have been working pretty hard to protect the pipes.
It helped that the air was wet. It was very humid in there. That does wonders for all of us.
Sweaty show. What a dry show it's been. It's just been people who are coming up and spreading that libel about Dean. Psycrowbob. Popcorn tried to stop by, but I told him he's banned. Let me see if I recognize any. Do we have any opposition in the chat? Is there anybody causing a stink?
It really sucks that Dean stuff is bleeding into here.
That's good. I mean, they're gonna make one for me, right? I have these conversations with my girlfriend about the fact that we got to protect her because people are going to bother her if they find her. But I talked to her just the other day about this is going on with Dean. Yeah, there's going to be a mess of rape accusations against me because obviously, right? I'm just next in line. One of the many people next in line. So, I mean, she gets it, but yeah, it's just shitty. It's going to follow him around forever for no fucking reason. It's gonna follow him around like people still fucking harass Eugene Carroll, even though the fucking amount of evidence that she had is a lot bigger than this fucking AI generated screenshot that people are using as a fucking gag on Dean, because it's such a serious thing. Like a sexual assault allegation is such a serious thing that it like has to be given a proper attention. So he had to interrupt his fucking show and do a fucking PowerPoint presentation on it. Adrian Pascal Hater. Let's see what they're saying. Eugene Carroll's a liar. I guess we're doing that fucking topic again. How old are you?
You're a dumbass nigger. Get your teeth fixed.
I am getting my teeth fixed. There's a dentist in California who wanted to do some free dental work for me because he really appreciates the show. So me and Jessie are going to go to NorCal in a couple of weeks coming up. I'm going to get my teeth fixed.
NorCal is a term?
I say it. Northern California?
Yeah. Well, I'd heard of SoCal.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I don't know. Maybe you're an original.
Sacramento area. Anyway, yeah, so Adrian, that's, you're just showing everybody the type of person who thinks that Eugene Carroll's a liar. Somebody who behaves like that. We're going to talk to the letter G. I'm going to see if he's just going to slur on my show. I bet he is. I feel like we're getting the trolls today. Hello. How old are you?
Dumb nigger.
You know what? Mods, we're probably going to get a flag today, and I'm going to fucking let it happen. The next time that happens, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to see if I can keep them on. If they say it more than once, I'll kick them. But, like, I want to see if I can get one of those guys into the uncomfortable part of the conversation. Let's see if Bennett is a bad person. Bad person says a slur. Incel says a slur. Bennett, I don't want you to be an incel. I don't think he meant to join. That's it. That's all they fucking got. That's why we got to do the phone number. We have defeated all of the serious Trump supporters on TikTok.
Well, I do think it's gonna get worse for a minute when we do the phone number. I do think we're gonna have to go through.
Yeah, there's gonna be, well, because like I said, we're gonna limit it to phone numbers that have caller ID. So we're not gonna get burner numbers. It is gonna be number where, like, if they commit a crime through the phone number, we'll be able to get them in trouble because it'll have some kind of person attached to it. Bennett, are you there? Not hearing any microphone noise.
I was about to say, if they came to slur and run, they waited very patiently to do so.
Yeah, gee, I can't have you back up because, like, I know that you slurred and I don't want to show TikTok that we're doing that again. I don't know. Like, I do want to understand what's going through these people's heads when they're like, I'm going to go on TikTok live and say a slur to 1,000 people. Because, like, what? It'll make you feel better? Is because you don't like what I'm doing and you're trying, like, are you just trying to use it as a mechanism to get the show deplatformed? It's not going to work. Like, I'm in cahoots with TikTok now. They like me. I have that higher level of support. Like, I'm not going to actually get in very serious trouble. Kick/Twitch clips. Is this a clip farmer? Are they going to come yell things at me and I'm going to use the splinter strategy? Or maybe they're just a more serious person. Hello, how old are you?
Fucking nigger, fag.
Why are you like that, dude? Like, what's... All right, Bennett's going to try again. Maybe Bennett got their audio figured out. Yeah, I can see you, but I can't hear you. I can't try to lip read through the show. I don't know. Other people's calls are working. It's on your end, Bennett. I don't know what's going on. Maybe restart your phone. I was having an issue with one of the TikTok apps on one of my phones today, and that did fix it. Yes, NorCal is a term, says Tavi Badir. Somebody's backing me up.
You said NoCal.
Then I misspoke. I meant to say NorCal. No.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the slur and run is really just like an attempt to get under your skin, but it doesn't. It's just like, okay, next.
No, it's just did I hear about Pickles live last night? Yeah, Pickles got flashed on stream. I don't know.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. I didn't see it happen. I was there right after it happened, so he was still live, but he had his guest privileges revoked, so he was like dealing with support. But I don't know if he I don't know what level of support he has. I did tell him that if he wanted, like, he could hit me up. It's like Dean gave me some help when I had that happen to me. But it is just going to happen. But like realistically, like, you know, TikTok takes it pretty seriously. And then in addition to that, yeah, that was just one of the slur and run accounts, right? Yeah. Like we're not actually going to get in any trouble. Like, you know, like you might, like a person who has less than 1,000 followers might not get their account back if something like that happens and they just like can't, like they just like don't know how to deal with the support system. Because if you biff it dealing with the support system, if you type the wrong thing into the box and send it and it doesn't make it past the AI filter, then like you're hosed. So there's certain ways you have to speak very clearly or like, you know, type your message very clearly. But if you know how to do that, like nobody, like I'm not going to lose my account because somebody flashes on my show. That's not, I'm not worried about that. It's just inconvenient. It gets in the way of the show sometimes. And you know, then you need to like figure out whatever police department you need to talk to or whatever. But you know, TikTok's pretty helpful with that stuff. Matt, friendly Matt or not friendly Matt?
Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Are you a Trump supporter?
I voted for Trump because I'm in a blue state.
You voted for Trump because you're in a blue state?
Yeah, my vote don't mean jack shit.
But are you glad that he's president?
There's some stuff I love about him. There's probably some stuff I hate about him.
No, I just like when you learned that he won the election, were you happy about it? Are you still happy about it? Like I just don't.
I'm overall not really much of a political person.
It's a political debate live, dude. Let's see if Bennett got his sound working. Oh, no, he's not even connecting. I hate politics. Oh, I heard him for a second. Maybe Bennett is working. I hate politics. How old are you?
Dumb nigga. Again, nigga. Really, nigga.
Dude, you want to stay up and talk? You have to say a word other than that. You can say mean things to me, but
are you Dean's friend?
I can you promise to not say that N-word and then you and I can talk about whatever you want? I'm very interested in talking to you.
Are you Dean's friend?
I don't know if it's appropriate for us to call us friends. I think it's appropriate to call us acquaintances.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
My fault. I won't do it no more.
No, hold on. I don't want you to leave. I really do want to talk to you.
Oh, well, what? I don't support Trump.
But why did you do what you just did? You just called in and said a slur to a lot of people. You tried. All right, Bennett, I think did have a working microphone the last time he tried. It's interesting what he said. He asked if I was friends with Dean, and when I told him that, like, people keep asking me if I'm friends with Dean, and I'm just like, Dean knows who I am. He really admires my work. That's great. I'm excited about that. We've co-hosted together. People have seen that in public. But, you know, it's just, I don't want to start saying I'm friends with all the people I've crossed paths with on here. It's just not really appropriate. Like, on TikTok or in real life, you don't, like, meet a reasonably famous person and, like, say, oh, I'm friends with Dean Withers. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm buddies with Parker. I spent much more time talking to Parker. I'm pretty comfortable saying that me and Parker are buddies. Bennett still no sound, best I can tell. But yeah, so he said he apologized for doing it after I said I wasn't exactly friends with Dean. I just consider him acquaintances because I think there's like good mutual respect and like we platform each other, so like we appreciate each other. But yeah, it's just, you know, you gotta be careful when you're saying someone's your friend if you really only have crossed paths in a professional capacity, which for the most part me and Dean only have. But that's interesting. Got him to say something. He got him to say that he's sorry for doing it because I'm not Dean's friend. So is he just a Dean troll? Is he using hate for African Americans to bother Dean and his associates? Is that the strategy? Is that what's going on here? I don't know. I've been seeing other hosts get away with people like slurring like that. Like I feel like the TikTok is either loosening the reins on people getting banned for saying slurs. So I haven't even gotten a warning because what'll happen if I don't disconnect somebody in the past, if somebody comes up and says the N-word, if I don't disconnect them very quickly, I'll get a guest violation warning, which basically says like, hey, keep your guests under control better. We're removing this person. You can remove them. You're restricted until you remove them, but you have a violation warning, which means that we like detected that you didn't disconnect somebody that you should have. But that's been happening less, and I don't know if it's just my growth or if the algorithm has unclutched its pearls or what, because it is an algorithm that determines whether or not those things get flagged. So it's a little mysterious even to the people who run the algorithm. So I don't know. I I might spend a little bit more time talking to those people and just trying to be like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, we had that yesterday or the day before, maybe, where we just like talked to a troll for like 15, 20 minutes, and he just eventually got like bored enough of trolling that we got some real answers out of him. So TikTok is normalizing slurs, says Meghead69. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if that's... I mean, the problem with it is that, like slurs are harmful. That's why we censor them. But I also think that, like, what I'm doing is, like, I don't give trigger warnings on my show because, quite frankly, I just think that the trigger warning is built into the subject matter. We're talking about politics and the president's a rapist. Default trigger warning. Like, so I think it's more harmful that those people are out there behaving in that way than that we I don't think that the word being platformed on my show by me engaging with such a person is like all that harmful. And I'd be open to somebody who disagrees. I'd be open to like a friendly debate of somebody being like, you should work really hard to make sure that word doesn't get uttered on your show. But at the end of the day, we repost the VOD every day. I don't keep the live video up on YouTube. I I record locally and then re-upload a slightly higher quality version of it as like a video instead of just letting the live stay up. So we could do the work of censoring the slurs. But we're talking, the coward psycrowbob is back in the chat, even though he won't come up with his camera on to discuss anything with me. Everybody remind him he's a fucking coward. But yeah, I almost think it like, it almost discredits like the uncomfortable triggering nature of a lot of the stuff we cover to give special attention to these words. But I'm also a white dude saying that, so I know that my vote on that I don't weigh as heavily as a lot of other people's. But yeah, like I can hear in some of the voices they're adults. Like I know kids. A lot of the kids screaming the N-word on here. It's the same thing as kids screaming it on Call of Duty back in the day. I know they still are. It's just back in the day when I was playing Call of Duty. But I just wish I could understand them better, Like the high school teacher in me wants to jump out and be like, what's going on, buddy? Why are you being so hateful? Why does that feel good? What's a better way to spend your Sunday than being so hateful? Obviously that's not going to be effective on a lot of them, but I just think there's something to be learned from those people. It's a shame. We've only got cowards in the chat. I mean, friendlies as well, but among the opposition, it is only cowards. We still got psycrowbob listening, even though he's a coward who won't actually put his face up and be the sort of bigot that he is. I hate politics. Are you just going to do it again? Quest cancel. Somebody probably banned him. I just want to actually have a fucking conversation with one of them, just like about fucking anything. Like, I want to know what the fuck their parents did to them. I want to know what their life is like. Chipopot sent $5 to say, the slur and run guy probably isn't a Trump supporter because Trump isn't doing even worse shit. That's a possibility. Yeah, I don't know. I want to understand what the heck is going on with these people. And I am not. And that's the purpose of the show, is to understand them. Bennett is back. Is his fucking microphone working? Why does he keep trying?
Yeah. Is it working?
There we go. How old are you?
I am 25, almost 26, man.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely fucking not.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a moment to get your topic out. What's going on?
I just genuinely wanted to have a good conversation with somebody who's, eloquent enough to do it. What is your opinion on the destabilization of the Middle East and the long-term, support of the United States towards the Zionist lobby? How's your opinion on that? Because it's, left and right, birth of both wings, both are supported by AIPAC. And I genuinely feel as if the country, no matter whether it's left or right, supports it. There's obviously, both sides don't support it, but we are shifting to this codependence on another country halfway across the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's bad. I agree with all that.
It's troubling. It's hard for me personally to support Democratic people. I'm from Missouri, and our most current elected Missouri official was supported $3 million by AIPAC. He is a Democrat.
In what America are we more likely to address the fact that Israel is involved in our politics? One run by Democrats or one run by Republicans?
Both. Both, because when you look at what they want.
No, dude. That's like me pointing at two different buildings and asking which one weighs more, and you saying that they weigh the same.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's a lazy fucking answer. Like,
you're right.
Like, I'm going to be a little oppositional with you.
No,
and it's not just because I'm having a hard time getting an oppositional caller. It's because I think that what you just said is fucking foolish. You're just going to say they're exactly equal. No further discussion.
Exactly. They're not exactly.
Okay. So then I ask the question again: in which America are we more likely to be able to effectively address the fact that Israel has their hands in our politics? In one run by Democrats or one run by Republicans?
It would be one run by Democrats, but the Democrats are still controlled by AIPAC.
Right.
You see
Wait. But that little thing that you just said is why you should vote for them. It's because because with
I
them
do vote Democrat. I vote Democrat every time.
Good.
There's nothing that will change that. I don't align myself with the Democratic Party because there's stuff on both sides, and I think most Americans should not align themselves with a singular party.
I agree.
Right? When we look at the art of war, what is the best way to control people? To divide them. So actively, this administration has been dividing. We see calling Democrat Antifa, which all Americans pre-World War II were Antifa. So I would say both do it to a degree. Because even if the Democratic Party happens, guess what? We had it all with Obama. We didn't have all branches with Obama.
Yeah, we also had we had a black president, and the pendulum swung so hard the other way that we elected another rapey old white man twice.
Right. And I genuinely think the Democratic Party needs a straight white middle-aged man for them to win.
Unfortunately, in terms of electability, I think you're right. That's an opinion even some of my own viewers don't like of mine. Is that I'll be so fucking mad at the establishment Democrats if they try MAGA versus a woman again, because we just know that America's too fucking sexist to answer that correctly.
The most qualified woman.
Most qualified presidential candidate in American history, and then people still call in and tell me that she didn't know what she was talking about because she laughs sometimes.
I have my own gripes with her and her policies in California.
Sure. Me too.
But she is the most
obviously qualified
person
but again,
to be a fucking
I guess I just don't understand the nature of this call. If you
the nature of this call is, what do you think about this Democratic and Republican push towards the Middle East?
I think that right now we are just stuck with two options, and one of them is less shitty. And I think that the only thing that's going to get Israel out of our politics is educating more members of the population that this is a serious problem. And I think that sort of class consciousness that the left is looking for is not going to happen by November. So I work on that. I sit here and I teach people about this stuff. I teach people to be more reasonable. I'm not so concerned with what I think needs to happen in politics in the next 10, 20, or 30 years, because I think that the only thing that's really going to make sure that we have the only certain way to get to a better outcome is to educate the population and hold people to account for their lives.
I'm sorry. I see a comment that says Democrats are not pushing in the Middle East, and that's absurd, because I don't know if they realize what the Obama administration did in Yemen and how Yemen looks today.
Yeah, that's wrong. The Democrats are pushing in the Middle East.
Yeah, this isn't like a Republican pushed force. This has been happening for decades. We have been destabilizing the Middle East ever since Gaddafi, all for the state of Greater Israel. And I think as an American, no matter if you're left or right, we got to get away from this whole Republican and Democrat thing. And at the end of the day, we are Americans. We have to look out for the homeless. There should never be a kid that goes to school hungry in this country.
I agree. I just think that it's like, all right, we can try to educate the population so that we start electing some seriously more progressive candidates. But just in the meantime, while we're working on that, maybe elect some Democrats that'll release the Epstein files. Maybe elect some Democrats that'll make the education system better so that 10, 20 years from now, when I think about how fucking broken a 20-year-old is today on average, just from talking to this show, how poorly the education system has handled them, how poorly the education system has prepared them for society, how poorly a job their parents have done on average on coping with the fact that screens are fucking melting children's minds and making them into conspiracy theorists. I want to build an America where over the next 10 or 20 years, we can look at the people who are being born right now. 20 years from now, they'll be voting adults who are 20 years old. I want that to be a more reasonable person. I want that to be somebody less likely to vote for Well, you don't
as
think
much as I love what you're saying, it won't happen because of this pushing, screen time. Think about it. I know personally people that voted for Trump because they saw a tick on TikTok.
I don't
like that is the generation of voting.
So somebody like me, and like I try to have a really reasonable worldview that's just based on like my teachings of history that I've taken in, and like all these volatile things that have happened throughout history. When somebody like you tells me that that's not going to happen with certainty, there's no fucking way that the education system will prove in the next 20 years such that a 20-year-old like an 18-year-old graduating high school in a couple of decades is better equipped than one graduating today. Like, why are you making such confident assertions about the way the next 20 years are going to go? We're living in one of the most volatile times. We are living in one of the most volatile times in human history. The human population on Earth is approaching the plateau that it needs to reach, or we're going to run out of resources. There's a necessary 100%. Trend from developing nations to developed nations as that happens. There's all this crazy stuff happening. This phones issue, it's brand fucking new. The iPhone was released for the first time. The first smartphone was 2007.
Oh, yeah. 2007.
Doesn't matter. Roughly 20 years. See, I'm the type of teacher in high school where I would tell a student, you got it off by 1 year? About 20 years ago. Full credit. You understand the timescales of what we're talking about. How dare you have so much appreciation for your own perspective on this that you think you know what 20 years from now is going to be like, when we're dealing with a problem that on the scale of human history has been around for a nanosecond. 20 years is nothing in terms of how long we've been cooking on society and how long humans have been monstrous animals before that, because we've been in this form for hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah, so I'm just like not interested in, like, that's my problem with people who
No.
Why is it the people who are telling me that voting for the Democrats won't accomplish anything, who are sure about one of the most volatile problems that have ever happened in human history, which is the way that smartphones and the internet and a globally internet connected society is going to affect our politics? So, like,
the reason I say that is because we're in a capitalistic society, a very capitalistic society, and over the past 20 years, it has become even more extreme, to where the wealth gap is going even higher, where we have administrations actively banning the teachings such as Black history. There are some states that don't even learn about Martin Luther King. No.
Okay, but a person in 1940, a person in 1935, something like that could be like, look at the trend. Obviously, in 20 years, obviously in 60s in the Germany, we're going to be living under Hitler, and we're going to be living under this terrible rule, and all.
You got to think, politicians aren't thinking in a 4-year plan. These people that play behind the lines, the people who make million textbooks, the people who teach our education systems, they're not thinking, let's see how kids will turn out in 4 years. No, this is decades plans. This, going back to my original
topic, why are you speaking with certainty about it? Why are you speaking?
Because we're on this graph. The only way that we're on this vertical incline graph is if there's a constant drop.
Because we're on this graph? Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
So technology isn't advancing more and more since the 80s?
Like,
you could pull up that graph and look it up.
No. Like, here. Here's a graph. Tell me what's going to happen next.
Right. What will that drop be? Do you realistically think
what's going to happen next on this graph?
No. Listen, do you realistically think in our capitalistic society that there will be a drop like that?
What's going to happen next?
What would the drop be that causes people to start going to school, stop dropping the phones and social media, stop investing? No, you're not listening because you're not understanding.
No, dude, I'm not doing it today. Like, I'll deal with somebody who's behaving that way if they fucking support Trump, but like, you think you're fucking right about everything? Place your fucking bets, dude. Like, if you have clairvoyance about human history, you should be a millionaire. Go play the stock market. Show me that you made $1 million on the stock market, and I'll believe that you know what's going to happen tomorrow. But until you do, I'm just not interested in you spouting that you know what the next 20 years of human history are going to be on Earth for some fucking reason, because you think that you can extrapolate a line that started fucking... Really, the problem with smartphones has only been around for like 10 years, because for like 10 years they weren't that capable, and we didn't have AI algorithms determining what content people watched. It's really in the last 5 or 10 years that things have gotten really problematic in terms of that. Rose, thank you for the $10 on Buy Me a Coffee. Hubby is from Oregon and said NorCal is absolutely a term. Jesse, you're getting outvoted to shit on this.
No, the chat also came to your defense when I said I thought you said NoCal. Like 3 people were like, he said NorCal.
NorCal?
Yeah, I know.
All right, come sit in this chair and tell people about your music while I use the bathroom. Thank you, Callie, for the $5 on Cash App. A harmful friendly? What's this dude's issue? Yeah, this dude is just... I mean, like, I could, like, talk to him again another time if he wants to just do something. Like, the fact that he wouldn't engage with the graph is why I kicked him. It's that he was yelling over me instead of just engaging with what I was trying to show him. And it's like, if you're not going to fucking engage with my argument, then what's the fucking point? You ready, Jessie? Okay.
I wore an appropriate shirt today. LOL. This was not intentional. I've slept in this shirt. I also thought Oskar was wearing some cool ripped jeans. They're just straight up dirty with paint. But yeah, thanks everybody who was saying stuff about my music in the chat. This is Oskar's normal chair, by the way. We moved it to the new studio. It is uncomfortable. I hate it. But he said tell people about the music. It was good. Everyone played so well. Like, I've never heard so many good vocalists back to back to back, and I think that was because it was so, like, damp in there. It was just a moist show. So, you know. Also, any people in the Discord listening, make sure you tell Oskar to start refilling my Brita before I actually come for his neck. Oskar needs a chair. Actually, yeah, a gaming company reached out and is providing a nice gaming chair for the studio. So Oskar will have a comfortable chair here soon. He didn't want my little IKEA chair I bought him either. He just wanted, like, he made me move this wood one from the old studio. I was like, this is such a pain to move. I bought 2 new chairs. He doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. Wanted his stiff wooden chair to sit in for 4 hours. Gotta post your show dates on Discord. I will. You can also follow my band, Sensing Agony. Follow us everywhere. Just don't follow us home. Am I his girlfriend? I am not. No. I'm his producer, and friend. That's it, though. He has a girlfriend, a different one. I'm just here sometimes. Actually, I'm always here in the corner listening to everyone. Sometimes in that corner, actually. Oskar doesn't fill the Brita. No, he doesn't. Drives me insane. Yeah, you guys like the shirt. Thank you. I didn't plan to wear this on stream. I just happened to be wearing it.
That is my favorite shirt of yours by so incredibly wide a margin.
This is me and Oskar are unintentionally in our protest outfits because we wear black to look like a unit when we go to protest. I wear this shirt and he usually wears that one.
Wow. Got a bit of a posse assembling for August 22nd. We're gonna go say hi to Jake Lang, tell him that we don't appreciate his presence in our city. That monster. I am bringing some security.
Keeping up with the chat, Oskar?
I'm looking. Do you think that this water came from your Brita?
Why? Because did you empty it already?
I have not used the Brita.
Alright. It was like a night ago I came home and the Brita was empty. And I just got so mad. I was standing in my kitchen just, Dad, is it no cold water before bedtime? What is this?
Actually, if my memory serves me correctly, the last time I drank water that came from your Brita, you poured it for me on Friday.
This is a lie. This is a lie. He does. I swear to God, guys.
A Stray GT said for $2, W for moist shows.
Yeah, I talked about how like every vocalist just killed it last night and it was because the room was so wet.
Jazz sent $2 to say, Oskar Phillip, who produces Brita, greedy man.
Yeah. You should just...
all right, who are the oh, Frankie Biz thinks that Jake Lang is awesome. Get the fuck up in the queue, buddy. Omar 11773. Are we gonna get an actual debate today? As far as I'm concerned, we haven't had a single debate today. Hello, how old are you?
Hey man, I'm 34. I'm actually friendly. I just wanted to say, please check your Discord DMs. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. I will.
He's gonna be telling you to refill the Brita.
Probably, yeah. So, yeah, Frankie's invited up, but he's too much of a coward to talk about that sort of thing. Jake Lang is a fucking Sixer. Trump pardoned that man for assaulting police officers, and then he came here and assaulted me and my friends with pepper spray and shit. I hate politics.
He also destroyed there was like a protest piece of art made out of ice.
Yeah.
And he came and destroyed that. Like, it would be so cool.
Yeah, he didn't look very impressive when he was destroying the ice sculpture, and they did arrest him for that because it was a permanent sculpture that was like thousands of dollars. So it was actually, when you destroy somebody's property that isn't yours, the crime is assessed by how much it is worth, and it was worth thousands of dollars because it was a big ice sculpture. So he fucked up on that one. But Texas banned him. I want to ban him. Can we ban him from here? 9,700 followers on YouTube, approaching 10K. Thanks, everybody. Go follow me on YouTube. Go to the link tree in the bio and find the Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon. But I don't even want to like push the fucking ad today. Today's episode has been shitty. Psycrowbob is the most interesting conversation we had. What the fuck? I mean, we did get SoCal up here. Got him some followers. That's exciting because I'm excited to see how his debates go. Yeah, LittleSalPal still here. He says it was a great episode for him. Yeah. How do I feel about Trump's ballroom? I mean, it's just like more. He's fucking around, right? Like, he hasn't covered the White House in gold because he thinks that represents the decor that like the White House should have. It's the way he likes it. The ballroom's just a fucking stupid side project that's like a distraction from like the actually important things that he's doing. A couple $100 million. I don't think that actually really seriously affects the budget of like anything that we're talking about. I don't really care where that money came from. He's just tearing up the White House lawn. Out of like, for a bunch of projects that show that he's like not interested in the optics of the White House to anybody other than him. Shitty. USS Abe Lincoln. My my girlfriend is a veteran. She served in the Navy. She used to be responsible for a warship. It's pretty rad. She got big fucking feelings about the way that Trump is treating the deployed soldiers in the Middle East. She follows that very closely, and that's one of the things that I've been learning a lot about from her. Is just she talks about without giving too many details about her away. She tells these stories about what life is like working on a ship, what life is like living on a ship. And it's just one of those little difficult problems where it's like, if you have an aircraft carrier that potentially thousands of people are going to serve on, how do you manage that? And I think that it's a demonstration of what Trump is Trump's approach to the military is that he's not being considerate of like, hey, like, yeah, we have the military might to deal with Iran, but like, no, maybe don't like station this ship for so long that the living conditions on it become so bad that the fucking soldiers start self-unaliving. I don't know. Your girl isn't your co-host. Jessie is my producer.
This is the Oskar Quentin show. He just lets me hang out sometimes.
It does bug me that people are just like, oh, there's a woman. Clearly Oscar's counterpart. Clearly that's the only reason that there could be a woman in this studio that we record this podcast in.
Well, I think they're just like retroactively promoting me. I think it's sweet.
Okay. If you appreciate it, then I don't need to jump to your defense. Fredpolitics. We'll see if his politics are any good. But I am upset about the USS Abraham Lincoln, and that and many other things. We shouldn't be in that war at all. Hello, Fredpolitics. How old are you?
34.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Why is that?
Well, I think we all need to unite, right? On the 18th at Dearborn, Michigan, we all have a common enemy. We've got 27 million black people being enslaved by Islam today.
No, I'm not doing this sort of random hate speech. You could have stayed on my show if you acted as though your position wasn't the obvious one. In fact, I'll let you come back up. Hit the button again if you want to try again and educate me about the bullshit you were about to spew on my show. But I'm just not interested in you coming. Like, what is even going on on the 18th in Dearborn? Like whatever fucking nonsense you're about to spew, you need to slow the fuck down. I'm not gonna let you steamroll like that. Try again. Why do you support Trump?
So, Oscar, what did I say that was bullshit?
Why do you support Trump is the question.
I support Trump because he's all in favor of getting rid of the Islamification in the West, which has been destroying the West for like the last 15, 20 years.
I don't think that Islamification is destroying the West. I think that Christian nationalism is destroying the United States.
Spain
Actually, this is a pretty easy one. Camera on if you want to do this. Camera on if you want to do this. If you want to talk about this shit.
That's cool.
Oh, you're a coward?
How am I a coward?
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, let's go. What's up,
All right,
bud?
so just a little background. When I was 6 years old, some terrorists flew a couple of planes into a building that my father worked in.
Yeah, now they got a jihadi, Zoran Mandami, running New
Excuse
York.
me. I have really horrible asthma because of that, and my father drank himself to death about it. I just wanted to give you that background about me.
Okay. What have to do with the topic?
I just wanted to see if you actually cared about the way Islamic terrorism affects human beings in this country. It doesn't appear that you do.
Well, anyone that suffers from asthma due to smoke is terrible. What are you talking about? That didn't have
I
anything to do
suffer
with
from
the subject.
asthma due to 9/11.
So, are you upset then at the people who caused 9/11?
I'm upset that people like you disingenuously co-opt concern about that to promote things that you know are awful.
No, there's no. My current issue is that there's 27 million people worldwide currently being enslaved, and the only people that are enslaving them is Islam.
I don't
So why
think
aren't
that
we all
that's,
uniting
I don't,
and
I don't
fighting
think that
against the
that's
common enemy?
accurate, and I don't think that Trump
It
is
is
doing
accurate.
anything about that.
Look at Libya, look at Saudi Arabia,
I
look
don't
at
think
Kuwait,
that Trump is doing
look at
anything
Sudan,
about that. I don't think that
Syria,
Trump is doing. Oh yeah, you're listing
look
the
at
places
Lebanon.
that you're listing the places that Democrats have been bombing, which I take some issue with their handling of that issue. But the idea that it's Republicans addressing that issue is absolutely fucking nonsensical.
Did Trump ban people from certain countries? Yes or no?
I'm sorry. What does that fucking pivot have to do with what I was saying?
Because
you're
Somalian is Islam.
No, your
Sudan
concern
is
no,
Islam.
no. Stop
The whole
talking and
countries he
listen.
banned
Your
were Islam
concern
countries.
specifically was about 27 million people who do not live here. So Trump banning
and
those
Trump
people.
stopping that from
Stop
happening in the United
talking
States by
and
banning those
listen.
countries
I
from
do not
coming
allow
in.
these sorts of non sequiturs on my show. Listen. You said
sequitur.
that you're concerned. You are feigning concern for 27 million people that I know you don't fucking care about because
I
you
do.
when addressed
No one
with
should
the
be
fact
enslaving
that
anyone in
excuse me,
2026.
I'm not done talking and I'm not going to let
care.
you steamroll me like this on my show. Why
steamrolling.
answer this question
You
for
won't
me
address
because
the answer.
you just brought up Donald Trump's travel bans, so I'm going to address it with you specifically. Why is Donald Trump's travel bans to the United States a response to what you're concerned about what those people are doing in the rest of the world, not in the United States?
Why do you find it kind of funny that every country that has
I'm
a travel
sorry,
ban
that's
is an
not an
Islamic
answer
country?
to my question. My question is if
Is
you're
it a
concerned about those
coincidence that-
27 million people the world over that are being enslaved by Islamic fundamentalists or whatever,
Is it a
why is your
coincidence?
answer to the fact that the Democrats are actually the ones who addressed that on the world stage, not the current Republicans, that Trump had a travel ban to here? Is your concern those 27 million people or people here in the country?
No, the coincidence is that all travel bans are from Islamic countries. That's the facts.
It's a non sequitur, and you are
Why-
not
why-
allowed to do
why-
anything
why
on my
did
show
Trump
but
ban
answer
those
this question
countries?
about
Because they
why
don't
you
fight
brought
Islam.
up travel bans when your concern is allegedly for 27 million people. I think that the long pause that you had where you just didn't
think
even
any
say,
ban of Islam
I
is good.
told you that I am a 9/11 victim, and you didn't even think to say, I'm sorry that happened to you. You don't give a fuck, dude.
No, you're trying to deflect away from the topic. The
Why
topic
didn't?
is,
No,
is
we're gonna go
Islamic
back to that. No, I'm just, because it's
belong in the
impossible
West.
clearly to have a
Talking
conversation with you about anything if you're just gonna
55
fucking
Muslim
like
countries under
talk
Sharia.
over me. I'm
Not
sorry.
one
Do
of
you
them
think that talking over me while I'm
are
trying to talk
democracy.
over you is going to make you an effective communicator on my show?
Does
Do you
Sharia
think,
work
you
in a
think that people
democracy?
listening, dude? I told you I
No,
was
it
a
doesn't.
9/11
Thanks
victim.
for answering my
Why
question.
didn't you? I told you I was a 9/11 victim. Why didn't you even bother to acknowledge that fact about me if you're so concerned about Islamic terrorism?
Because you steamrolled and diverted away from the topic that we're talking
There
about.
was a long pause.
You diverted away from the topic and brought up 9/11. I don't know why. We were talking about the Islamification of the West. And we're talking about how Trump put on travel bans to those countries that were from
keep her
Islam.
kick, chat. This guy's not. This
Okay.
isn't.
That's
This
the
isn't a
reality, though.
conversation.
That's the reality, Oscar.
The reality is that you're
And
a
on
fucking lying,
Dearborn, Michigan
disingenuous
is
piece
getting-
of shit who's using those 27 million people to push your political
Dearborn,
agenda.
Michigan is going to get a rude
No,
awakening.
dude, you don't get a rude awakening. Dearborn, Michigan. You're talking about a city here getting a rude awakening, and you think that you're interested in promoting the common defense? You're a fucking terrorist, dude. That's what you fucking are. Call me a fucking terrorist for defending the Constitution. Call me a fucking terrorist for having reasonable opinions about how we should handle religious fundamentalism in the world. Call me a fucking terrorist for fucking whatever the fuck you want. But whoever the fuck that is, he is a fucking monstrous piece of shit, and I don't think he's welcome on the show. Fucking unbelievable. Peaceful Expat 98. Probably be good for fucking engagement if I yelled at that guy a while longer. I'm
let
just
me
not
first,
interested in doing it. How old are you?
47.
Okay, do you support Trump?
Absolutely not.
I am just looking for debates, people. Alex Super Rainbow, probably not here for a debate, but I am just looking for debates. Let's get one thing that counts as a debate, because that guy was just yelling hate speech. He was using my show as a billboard, and if he's just going to yell over me, then
That's not hate speech. Islam is hate speech. And Dearborn Mayor.
So people followed him too.
Yeah, I mean, is that what we're fucking doing today? That guy owns you? Huevi, come tell me what you've got to fucking say, coward. Dearborn, Michigan on the 18th? 2 days? What the fuck is happening? Is Jake Lang going there first?
I was trying to look it up.
Well, Huevi, come tell me why you support Trump. I won't kick you this time if you don't slur or you don't try to use my show as a billboard for some sort of fucking hate rally.
Read your donations, please.
Gottenbag sent $2 to say, brought to you by Oscar's Orchestrated Oscar for OskarPolitics, or ooh, try your best to make sense and look at you like you understand reality. Ooh, side effects include MAGA-induced converting the intellectually honest and mocking for chuds. See what ooh can do for you. Thank you, Gottenbags. Then over on YouTube Super Chat, we said, as a Muslim black Arab, fuck you, Fred. The USA uses slavery as prison and punishment, and we do it more than anyone else. Trump trying to reform prisons. I know Dems would do that. Yeah. I'm getting a little impatient with the disingenuous, obviously false nonsense that gets yelled at me. It's like, what is the, like, there comes a point where we just can't platform people just yelling hateful shit over me. Is there a donation that I missed? Araxis sent $3 in Cash App to say, how about that Trump bank BS? Yeah, just more shit. Buy me a coffee. Did I miss one?
Not that I know of.
Dan D. Tunes. Hello. How old are you?
I'm 34. I'm a friendly. I'll be quick.
Okay.
I just think if people were half as obsessed with people like Dean and you know, if they were more obsessed with the corruption that's going on and like specifically targeting the politicians, I think the country would be a much better place. Like, I think that energy could be much more spent creating positive change, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, these people are like more upset about vibes and clout than rape and murder. But they use rape and murder as their excuse to promote the ideologies that they promote, because they're like mostly just interested in, you know, vibes and clout. Got people who are legitimately excited about the prospect of like hate crimes happening to people calling into the show. But we can't get somebody to just earnestly tell me that they think that Trump is a good president for any way that doesn't require them to bend over backwards and twist themselves into a pretzel to excuse everything he does and blame Democrats for doing the same thing. It's just like...
But I mean, the government is supposed to represent its people. And unfortunately, half of the people would rather just like blindly follow something.
Well, and somebody like Fred, it's like, I'll talk to that kind of monster if there's any level of sequitur. I say A, he says B about A, I respond with C, referencing B, that gets us to D. We can talk about horrible shit. We can talk about whatever the fucking nonsense is happening in Dearborn, Michigan on the 18th. We can do that. But if you just yell things at me, you're going to get disconnected quickly, because it's just not like... And the fact that I, like, when I announced that I was going to disconnect him, he just started giving his little fucking rapid spiel to get his little hate speech billboard out. Whoever was in the queue, I was about to click you. You can come back. We got to get that number sorted out. TikTok is, we've run out of actual people willing to have a meaningful conversation on TikTok. It's only the likes of David on here.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
I think Discord had some questions for him.
Yeah, Discord did have questions for David.
So when are you going to get health insurance?
Discord had some questions for you. Who said that? Midwest Progressive. Is Midwest Progressive listening? He can get in the queue and talk to you himself if he wants. I'm not interested actually in talking to you about like my personal finances and private matters.
Well, it does to your credibility.
I think that I did so to the degree that it defended my credibility earlier in this episode when you called in. So I'm just not interested in telling you how things are going for me because I already did.
Your credibility, doesn't it? I mean, most children will
turn on your camera, David. I think it hurts your credibility that you don't. Turn your camera on.
You're dangerous.
I think if you don't turn your camera on, you lack credibility.
No. The mentally ill are dangerous. I'll be able to talk to them, but I'm not going to.
Because you're a coward. You're afraid of the mentally ill people that you said earlier in my show that you come on here to mess with, to play with, was your words?
Yes. I'll play with them, but I'm not stupid.
What do you think is going to happen if you turn your camera on? What are you afraid of?
I'll probably be doxxed and unalived.
I'm sorry. Do you think that if people were being doxxed and unalived for showing their face on TikTok live streams, do you think that story would make the news?
Oh, it does.
Okay. Who has been unalived for their opinions on TikTok?
Did you ever hear of a man named Charlie Kirk?
Do you think that you're the next Charlie Kirk? Do you think that TikTok made him famous? Do you think that he called into a liberal show and spread some bullshit?
I don't think it matters. Have you not met an ICE agent?
I've met lots of ICE agents.
Do you want to unalive them?
No. I want them to. I would prefer they serve. I would prefer they go to prison forever.
Oh, well, there you go.
If we the people try them and hang them for treason, I'd probably be okay with that.
So you want to unalive them?
I don't want to unalive them.
You just said you want to hang them.
I want them to be tried for treason. And if they get hanged as a consequence of that, that's something that our legal system allows. I'd be okay with that.
So does that sound like a sane person to you?
You don't think it's sane for
no, don't pivot. Just answer that question.
You don't think it's sane for a person to want?
Does that sound like a sane person to you?
Let's yeah, I think it's sane what I said.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Oh, Oskar Quentin music.
Oscar with a K. Can you just answer that one question? What you just said, does that sound insane?
What are you asking me? Yeah,
dude. What am I asking? What are you asking me now?
Right. So the consequences for treason do involve hanging, right?
Can I just ask the question again, then you answer it the same way? Mm-hmm. Does that sound like a person that might be insane?
No, I think it's pretty reasonable what I said.
Okay, well that you proved my point there too. You can talk to the mentally ill, but you definitely
do you also think that Donald Trump is insane?
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. So you are one of them, Oscar. Yes, he is. But you go ahead and live your life without health insurance. I mean, live on the edge. You get hit by a bus, well, they'll stabilize you, but I'm not sure they're going to save you or go to extraordinary measures to save your life.
Dude, what? Cap.
Do you think you're a good person, David?
I think that you need to become an actual grown-up adult.
Do you think you're a good person, David?
I think I'm not your father, but your father should have a talk to you. And he should say to you,
my father's dead. He drank himself to death after 9/11.
Well, that explains a lot. Then you got trauma, right? So Oscar with a K, that explains your insanity. Oscar with a K, you seriously need to become an adult now. It's 31 years, right? It's time to put your big boy pants on and get out there in the world. Mm-hmm. Now, I've raised enough money for you now, and I'm going to leave.
Coward. You run? Yeah, he's a runner. Can't even deal with me just sitting here. Oh, the other guy ran too. Gotta get that phone number working. Like it's just David and Popcorn sucking each other's dicks in the corner, and then when we turn the lights on at 10 a.m., they go, "Oh, sorry, you're a bitch," or whatever they say. But I mean, seriously, like we don't even need to try to make these people look bad. Like what is wrong with David? Like what is David like?
I do wonder what it's like to encounter these people in the wild.
I'd pay money to talk to somebody who knows David, just like his barber or like somebody who, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Truth teller. We'll see if they tell any truths. This is boring. I want to talk to it like a not Nazi. Like I want to talk to somebody who's just like actually just trying to figure out what's right. Hello, how old are you?
34.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Why is that?
He's making America great again.
I don't think he is.
Why wouldn't you say? Why would you say that?
Because I think I know what I care about in the country, and he's doing the opposite.
Got a secure border.
I don't think we do have a secure border. I think that people are afraid to come to this country because of what Trump is doing, which is why the illegal crossings numbers are down. But I don't think that that's going to last into the next administration. I don't think he's done anything to codify any sort of approach to the border that's going to last beyond his term.
Is that not a good thing for them to be scared to come here?
Is this Fred? This is just Fred on a different account, right?
Like Poland uses live bullets, right?
Yeah, dude,
I don't think it was.
No, he didn't, because he didn't answer when I asked him directly if that's who he was. He ignored the question. Why would he ignore the question? Somebody would just say, you judge. You hear his voice again.
What question did I miss?
Fred, how old are you?
Who's Fred?
He almost fell for it. I don't know.
That was pretty close. I don't know.
Turn your camera on.
Do I have camera access? One sec.
Yeah, you do. I already sent you the invite.
It says I don't.
Yes, you do. You're lying. I just sent you the invite.
Then why can't I hit my camera? It says I don't have live access.
Give a shit what you have to say to me. You absolutely do.
I can send you a screenshot.
Yeah, people don't need a screenshot. If they're watching on YouTube, they can see me hovering the invite to turn camera button on, which they see every time I connect a caller. I check if they have camera access.
You can invite someone to come on the camera. Doesn't mean they have camera access.
That's not true. No, this is grayed out if they don't. You're lying. Why are you lying? Why are you doing this? Why can't you be honest? Like, why do you have to lie to try to get whatever it is you're trying to get from this app? Like, why? Like, if
just what you said was inaccurate.
It's not. You are lying. If somebody doesn't have camera access, either because they don't have access to
you can still invite someone if they don't have camera access.
That's not true. No, it isn't.
That is true.
Who do you think the people watching the show are going to believe?
Well, because they're all on your side. That makes sense. But
send the invite again.
You can look up TikTok's guidelines.
It says invite to turn on Truth Teller's cameras there, dude. Like, just wasting my fucking time. Let's get this fucking account back.
Yeah, and when I hit yes, it says live access not granted.
No, that's not how it works.
Okay.
It's just like Dr. Ghost. That's what I'm talking about. I was talking about, I think before you were in the room, Jessie, I'm talking about we should get the phone number working and we should like sell bumper stickers with the show's runtime in different time zones and sell the bumper stickers to people in those time zones so we can just get calls from randos, because like TikTok is just full of neo-Nazis. I think that the TikTok debate space turns reasonable people into not Trump supporters, but we're just running out of people on TikTok who aren't actual neo-Nazis, and the neo-Nazis are just wasting all of our time. So, like, if we're able to broaden the reach of the show to other people, we'll see that it's not that fucked up again. I mean, it is pretty fucked up what's going on, but it's not that fucked up. It's not like every Trump supporter is a fucking neo-Nazi, but that's what you'd think if you're just on TikTok.
What was his actual handle again?
Oh, I don't know. We can find out from the like post-show thing. Oh, okay. I think we're gonna wrap. I think it's a better use of our time after 3 hours to get this phone number working, because there just aren't Trump supporters left on TikTok. Like, even Dean has a hard time like getting people who just are anything other than like actual fucking neo-Nazis. Lowry, I've talked to Lowry before, right? I don't remember what kind of caller he is. Hello, how old are you?
I'm 22. I just turned 22 this August the 5th.
Okay.
I've been here before, but I haven't been able to catch a TikTok live, so I've been watching your VODs. And I gotta say, I love your new setup, and I love what you've been doing. I had this. Okay, so Jake Lang is like a Gen Sixer, right?
Yeah, he was imprisoned for 4 years after being convicted for violently assaulting law enforcement there and breaking in, and Trump pardoned him.
And there's like footage of him just like screaming slurs like that. I feel like if you want to, I'm not gonna say you have to, but I feel like you should really like bring that up a little bit more often to Trump supporters just to see what they say. Because I feel like they'll find some way to dodge that. Like, how can you excuse Donald Trump pardoning a criminal who shouts slurs at people, and he's gonna be coming soon? Yes, that's to your hometown and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's coming here next Saturday. So me and a bunch of other white people are gonna go make sure it's not a race war, because we want, instead of it being a race war, we want it to be good white people versus bad white people. So the word on the street is that people of color should stay home, and if you're white and you care about this, you should show up. Unfortunately, those are the times we're living in here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's just sad to see people it's just like that, and Trump supporters just really think like it doesn't happen. Oh, it's all leftist, and there's it doesn't take much of a discussion about a character like Jake Lang to prove to a reasonable person that Trump shouldn't have pardoned him. But we're just left with like actual neo-Nazis who want people to suffer. So that's what I'm dealing with. Yeah, and also I love the new little term, the KKK thing. Yeah, I kept saying the digital hood.
Got that digital hood?
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. All right, but you can drop me for the algo. I just wanted to step up here for a second.
I appreciate you, Lowry. I was in kind of a bad mood from today's show, and Lowry put me in a better mood. There's certain things I really want to press, and like I really want more hosts to say that. Take the hood off. You know, in the last couple centuries, it was the white hood. Now it's your camera being off on TikTok. If the Ku Klux Klan had TikTok back in the day, you know they'd be using it to spread their hate, and they are today. But they don't need the white hood. They just don't turn their camera on, and they lie through their teeth about not wanting to turn their, So here, if you're one of the 1,000 people watching right now, just when you see other people refusing to turn their cameras on, just start spamming the chat. Take the hood off. Take the hood off. Take the hood off. I think that's the language we need around it, because it's so obviously a good analog, right? If you're gonna say like, why did the Klansmen, and then they'll say, why do Antifa hide their faces, and I say, what the fuck are you talking about? So yeah, that's gonna be the mission today. Tell the Klansmen to take their fucking hood off on TikTok Live. Brittany sent $6 to say, bitch, David is the regular at the hole in the wall bar where he thinks he's like family, not knowing all the bartenders cringe when he walks in the door. Yo, I bet that's exactly the type of life that David leads. Jeffrey, thank you for the $2. David is a fucking disgrace to the LGBTQ plus community. If anyone is mentally ill, it's a gay man that isn't smart enough to realize that people he supports believe that he shouldn't have any rights. Yeah. And over on YouTube Super Chat, we've got from Jazz $2 to say David has no credibility because he's, a bitch. He's like, it's just not even like funny anymore. Like, I've beaten that joke to the point where it's just like not even entertaining. These people would support drone striking migrants. They absolutely would. And the short one became a supporter, which means they get to be in the members only streams. Over on getting disorganized. Maybe I didn't sleep well. No, that's not true. I slept wonderfully. Feeling out of sorts today.
Fact checking your own sleep.
Fact checking the last 24 hours of my own life. All right, guys. I am going to wrap the show, and I am going to spend the rest of the day focusing on getting that phone number working because TikTok's dead. It's just full of fucking literal Klansmen. That said, got the news during the show today. No evening show tonight. Like I said, I've been bit a couple times by like announcing it, so I'm actually just gonna get more squirrely going forward about the evening show because it's just hard to pin down some of these guests. So I'm gonna do what I can to get another show scheduled before next Sunday because I do want to have the evening show and then the members only after it. But I think tonight we're just gonna work on supervisory stuff because we need to get the phone number working. We're out of time. There's like There's nobody left worth talking to.
Will you be doing a members only this evening?
I don't think so. I think we should.
Because maybe we can try and get the call-in line working that way.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say maybe on the members only stream, and no specific timeline on that today. Because yeah, the members only stream might be a good way to like sound check everything, so we can all hang out and have a little fun together while we like get that working. Because we've got like enough phones and devices and stuff between the two of us here in the office. Like we should be able to like simulate somebody calling in from the other room, that sort of thing. But yeah, we've got we've definitely got to definitely need to address the problem that we're out of reasonable Trump supporters on TikTok. So I think that's the mission for the day after we get the show pushed. Anything else, Jessie?
Not that I could think of.
Alrighty then. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10 o'clock Central Time. Hopefully we'll be taking phone calls with a number. That'd be fucking exciting if we finally got that working. Anyway, goodbye TikTok and goodbye YouTube.